left off, you guys had successfully made it to the um, luminescent fungal forest, and you had some interactions with one of your little buddies named Porsche. He took you to his little village, where you found out that these small little mushroom people had built a sustainable symbiotic relationship with the symbiote race. And they have been living in harmony for some time, and they offered you a way to get into the city if you were so inclined, secretly and safely. The only thing that they would ask for in exchange is that there are some harvesters who are pushing too far and harvesting too much. And they asked for help in dealing with that in some way. And as opposed to fighting them, which is what I thought you were going to do, you had the brilliant idea to try to do a kabuki theater production about how Rusty still is alive in these forests, and he's gonna do something, and then that's where we left off, and you guys were in the just
Thank
about
you.
to start the plan. So that's where
Hi.
we are.
Kai, are you disguising yourself as Rusty?
I think so.
And then with
You're
the
the
help
biggest
of
one.
the Myconids and my disguise kit, we're gonna dress everybody up as spirit warriors.
All right, go ahead and roll disguise kit. What would that be?
Yeah, I was like, is that a thing?
I'm gonna say you use your your dex plus proficiency, I guess.
What'd that be? Sleight of hand?
Yeah, sure. As long as you don't have expertise in it, go ahead and roll one of your
I
dex checks.
do have expertise in it.
Okay,
I
because you
can
wouldn't
just
have
roll with my dex. What is dex plus proficiency?
dex plus proficiency. I don't. It depends on what your dexterity is. If your
It should be-
dexterity,
It's +4.
okay. So +4, and your proficiency is at this level what, +3? Yeah,
I
so it'd
guess. Yeah.
be a D20 plus
So
7.
7. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's probably gonna do it. I got a 18 plus 7.
Oh yeah, these disguises look amazing, and you use some of the little glowing spores that the little myconids have come over and offered to you to kind of give a more ethereal appearance to your disguises. And just for my sake, are you disguising everybody as the spirit warriors, or like?
Yeah, from the horn.
Okay, all right.
Oh, ooh.
So everyone looks pretty ethereal, except for Kai. He didn't need anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say we discussed last time. I talked to, and I really can't remember his name. Spore, the little one.
Shade.
Spore
Spore
Shade.
Shade.
Yeah, I talked to him at length to try to get as accurate of a representation of him as I could.
He goes on and on and on and on and on, describing this crazed lunatic, large, elven person that had a bucket on his head and a loincloth, charging into battle with just an axe, and how there was nobody else at all there.
Definitely no one.
And then he would blow his horn, and then all of these spirits would come from nowhere and decimate armies of people. So he gives you the kind of background lore, and he gives you the general idea of what he's going to look like, and then from there he just keeps kind of talking, and it gets further and further away from the point. You got to kind of cut him off at some point, but you got the information you need.
So at least the only thing I was thinking of was trying to not like lay an ambush, but lay in wait for whenever the harvesters were going to show up.
days.
Yeah, and then I don't know if I would say his like visually we'd pick out like one of the darkest places just so it's spookier. So we technically got 3 days to still prep if we need to.
Sure. I think the important thing is just to like make sure that we what did the Myconids say was like a realistic way that their forest could just keep regrowing was once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I think that's the point we gotta instill fear with. or instill fear to get them to,
I was gonna just tell them to
oblige
never
by.
come again. Like, I wasn't gonna try to like barter with them. You know, I'm like, don't come in here unless you do. It's once a month. It's like, what?
I mean, I'm sure it's no different, but the idea would be
Yeah.
that they would still be able to farm here, but not encroach on the Myconid territory, and then they wouldn't be going elsewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could just say like make it just sound like they're harvesting too much. We don't have to be like, don't come back unless it's a month.
Obviously,
We
we're
could just be like,
underground, so there's no like moon cycles or anything like that. But is there a like natural cycle in the Underdark?
How do you know when a day passes?
You
yeah,
are
could they?
unsure.
I think he said we're unsure.
But well,
I
the
mean, you
Myconid
Go ahead.
did refer temporally directly. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but
Got a question or?
no, there's a statement that
Yeah.
when we were talking to the Myconids, they had mentioned if they would come once a month, that would be like something that they could reasonably like regrow, But I don't know if that's just if that was intentional.
Let's ask them if they have a time cycle down here, like how they tell. Is it just a growth cycle or?
Yeah, so you walk up to one of the fungal people and you ask him that, and he turns to you and his little mushroom cap starts glowing this nice shade of green, and you hear in your head, there's a growth cycle here. Everything is dependent on the growth cycle. Different creatures in the Underdark track time in different ways. For us, it's more natural to go by this way, but you might hear other people talking about different methods. I know that the Drow, they have a very different way of keeping track of time.
So maybe we just state to respect the cycle, the growth cycle. I'm sure that would convey that they're coming too frequently.
Okay, I got an idea. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's an easy way to do it.
Yeah, respect the cycle or suffer Rusty's wrath.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of. It was like you're harvesting too much. Go away, and then not exactly, but yeah. Okay.
Works for me.
Yeah.
All right. Foreshade walks up to you guys as a group and says, "Hey, I want to show you kind of like where you're going to be ending up, if that's all right. Like where the action's happening. Maybe you could figure out like a way to what you want to do with that."
Show me the way.
Yeah. Do you have a location that's probably darker than the rest?
I mean, everything's kind of lit by the fungus and fungi, but the problem is that they're over harvesting, so there's definitely dark patches that you can work with.
That works for me.
So he begins taking you, and I'm in Foundry. I'm moving your characters to where you need to be because it's a ways away.
Covered across the water. We saw that.
Josh, are you in here too, or no?
It's like,
Yeah, I'm here.
Could you help me move them all the way up to the top left, where the entrance to the forest is? So he's taking you guys, and as you guys are walking, you're noticing there's all different kinds of fungus and all that kind of stuff. Who were the people that were tracking their thing? I think it was
Me and Joe.
In Newmont,
Or-
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a nature check for me or a survival check. You can choose one of you to do it with advantage, or you can each roll.
I already rolled and I got a 19.
Same. I got a 20.
Okay.
Both
Yeah,
amazing.
you guys both you pick out another fungus that looks like it the spores would make people a little sleepy. So you know how to identify that specific type of mushroom. If the mushroom is disturbed, you would have to make a Constitution saving throw, or become drowsy. And if you fail by a significant margin, then you just pass out.
Hey guys, these mushrooms kind of make you tired.
Mm.
And I kind of just nod off in front of everybody.
So that one, it's going to be a DC 12 Constitution saving throw. If you fail by 10, you are knocked unconscious.
I got a 19 plus whatever my
You're totally 20. Fine. You would have to have a very bad Constitution and a very bad roll to be knocked out by these things. But it is Spore Shade informs you this kind of this mushroom here is used as a way to help people get to sleep, typically for other creatures. It's, not super often that someone just gets knocked out from it. He just continues to waddle along with his little mushroom cap, waddling from side to side. So he takes you guys all the way over to the entrance of the forest, and it's not super well represented on the map here, but there is a significant lack of growth as you get closer and closer to this area. And he's like, "This is the tunnel that mainly leads to the road that's going to take you to the city, and this is usually where they come from. So, what if you got plans or something you want to do? Have fun." And then he turns around and starts waddling back to the village.
Thanks, Sportshade.
Have fun.
No problem.
Okay. I don't know if you guys want to wait here for 3 days or however many days that is, really.
I think that is how it's looking.
We can explore a little bit. I mean,
start picking eating mushrooms, you said?
If you want to. The proximity to the main encampment isn't a far walk, I assume. Is that right?
It's a pretty far. It's not super long, which is kind of why they're a little bit nervous about it and want it handled. Because once they start reaching further and further in, eventually they're going to find this village.
Mm-hmm.
Does just from observing my surroundings, do the funguses start here, like at this entrance, basically?
Yeah, but there's not really many up that close. You can tell that there's room for where natural growth should have been.
I gotcha. That's what I was thinking of. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can just... Do you guys have any other ideas? I mean, I don't really know what else we would plan.
I might take the time to craft another poison of some kind.
What was that thing called where you mingle with the local folk?
Carousing?
Carousing.
You typically need a week to do that, but if you want to just get your name out there, that's fine too. You can just do a basic charisma check and kind of get a vibe check on how they're...
I will do that, just with the local symbiote population.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a charisma check for me. Persuasion.
Charisma? I got... What's my... Well, charisma is plus, so that would be 8, right? Yeah, 8.
8 total?
Yeah.
You get the sense that a lot of the Myconids aren't really believing all of your stories that you're telling them about your great deeds and your grand ambitions. There's a symbiote or two that kind of listens in because you have that symbiotic nature to you. But for the most part, they're kind of like, all right, big guy, sure thing.
What can you do?
I would also like to map a lot of this area out and pick as much edible mushrooms as I could.
Okay,
stock up on food.
Do a survival check for me.
That ain't good. That's an 11.
11. I would say that you get the area, most of the pathways that lead from the entrance to the Myconid camp. You get those, but these offshooting tunnels, you're having a hard time mapping those. And you get 2 mushrooms that take an action to consume, but they restore 1 hit point.
Oh, sick.
Because you guys found out about those last session, so you know what to look for. If they are not consumed within 24 hours, they go bad, though, once you pick them.
I consume 1 right now.
Okay. You gain 1 hit point.
And we're all long rested at this point.
Yeah. You guys, for sure, can take a couple long rests. So, are we just skipping to the day in question? Or is there
Can
anything
I
else?
also do some carousing, but with like a specific goal of getting certain information? I don't know how that looks. That would work.
That would be called research. That would be under the research downtime.
Even
So
if I
you're
was
trying
chatting
to...
with people about it.
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead and... You can either roll a persuasion check or an investigation check.
Those are 2 very different things.
I'll take persuasion, and I'm looking for more information on the different races that live down here. More specifically, the different species of elves that have lived in the Underdark.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
17.
17. They tell you a lot about different creatures, and one thing that's very interesting to you is the Fomorian. They were once a beautiful elvish race that were cursed into becoming these deformed, giant-like beings that are hideous to behold. That is something that was interesting to find out, but it didn't seem to you like they were talking about your people specifically. You also find out that there is an enormous population of elves in the Middle Dark, which is where you guys are now, and in the Lower Dark, which is underneath where you guys are now. The Drow are the predominant race in the Underdark, and they are an elvish people. And from what you're gathering, it seems like the predominant slave race down here is also elvish, but not Drow.
Okay.
You can't
Mushrooms
get
know
too
everything.
much. You can't get too much more than that because they don't know the difference between specific.
From that
sub-races.
conversation, I don't want to dig too much for info, but like, do I get a sense of the reaction I would have as showing my face to a drow potentially from that?
You would think that the reaction would not be positive. It is probably a good idea, knowing that that elves that are not Drow are the predominant slave race. You probably don't want to go around advertising that you're not Drow.
Yeah. Okay, sweet.
That makes
And
sense.
it kind of clicks in your head why Delaria looked at you so different when you took your mask off and thought it was interesting.
She did address them or you guys as we, which I thought was very interesting. I wasn't sure if that was on purpose or not.
I would say you also gain enough context clues that through that conversation, Newmont, given the proper zhuzhing up, disguising, if you will, could probably pass as a drow on most levels. The eyes are still different, though.
Okay.
So I'll relay this to the group, and I'll go to Kai, and I'll say, Kai, once we're finished with our little play we're gonna put on here,
Yeah.
would it be possible if I could borrow your hat while we're down here? Because I don't feel that comfortable showing my face.
Do you think you like Dragonborn better or worse? Do I sound funny? I feel like I sound
Yeah,
funny.
you do sound kind of funny.
You do.
Yeah. That's what I was informed. No, I didn't do anything. I mean, yeah, you can totally borrow my hat. That my voice is totally not different whatsoever.
Sound yeah. You hit second puberty while we're chatting.
this is so great.
Kai's balls dropped a
What does it
fucking
sound- what
point.
Yeah.
What does it sound like? I'm so confused.
This is what you
It-
sound like.
It sounds like your bit rate on your mic is fucked up.
Oh,
You want to just leave the Discord and come back?
I could try. I don't think that'll fix it.
God, you sound handsome, bro.
Maybe unplug your mic and plug it back in.
I was tempted to. I'll try that.
You got like a foot-long cock in that pants. I can tell, man.
So do I sound?
He's
I feel like I sound
streaming?
normal now.
There
Better.
you go. You're back.
Damn
Yeah, you're
it.
so back.
My-
We're so back.
My normal voice of not being
Your wiener is now 4.5 inches again. Nice, bro.
son of a bitch. I'm so curious what I sounded like. Fuck.
Oh, we'll watch the VOD. We're gonna run the VOD back. Don't you worry.
I could have left it on for Rusty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been perfect. Actually,
Right? That's why I was like, I was trying to figure out what it sounded like. Like, that might not be too bad.
What was your question, Kai?
I think Kazir asked if he could borrow Kai's hat.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for when we go into the city, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if they would like you with a mask on more or me with as a dragonborn. It's like a
I
partial
could
debate.
help with that if need
Oh
be.
yeah. I mean, if we just need disguises, I think Vickers got us in general.
They may get excited about a dragonborn and want to enslave
That's what
you.
I was thinking. I'm like, they might be like a little too excited.
You kind of gather that humans are exceptionally rare to see down here. Exceptional. And Dragonborn, even in the upper world, you only ever really see Dragonborn in the literal kingdom where Kai comes from. They're very, very scarce throughout the rest of the world. So they probably have never even seen a Dragonborn. You could piece that together.
I don't know if that'd be a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah, no, right.
All right, what's next?
Then we
Playtime?
wait.
So yeah, I mean, I did
Wait.
my thing. Anybody else have anything they want to do in the interim before we time skip?
You guys need any potions?
I did what I needed to
I
do.
was like, right? We got.
You already did all your rolls and stuff.
Did all my rolls and my math. It was a success, a great success.
Great success. Okay. Good.
Yeah,
So,
we push it. Yeah.
position your characters where you want you guys to be, just in case something goes tragically wrong.
What
I
could
want
go
some
wrong?
cover.
Nothing will go wrong ever.
Do you guys see these little arrows on you guys, or is that just me?
I do, yeah.
I don't know how to
I
get
just see
them to go
little
away.
dots. That's it. What
I have green
direction
dots.
are we like expecting them to come from?
To your left.
This way.
Expecting to come
Oh,
from the left.
over here? Okay.
So where's Rusty Trombone going to be?
I was expecting to like kind of like be off to the side, and then when they start to, I mean, this would be pretty easy in like normal reality where you could see people caressing, but I'd want to be hiding in a dark patch of shrooms that's pretty difficult, or ideally pretty difficult to see in, and then when they start to approach, I would
Come
walk out in front of some shrooms that would ideally cast some like pretty heavy shadows like on me that it looked like you do like a flashlight shit.
Easily enough done.
Vicar, if you
And,
move one more spot north, we would have a pretty nice line.
Yep. That's what I was
And you'd
thinking
be
as well.
safe. Or I could step in front.
lines are
and
bad.
intersect.
Stagger.
Sure, if someone had like a lightning bolt, you guys would be fried right now.
Invasive maneuvers.
All right. So that's where you guys want to be. So you can hear some murmuring and some what's obviously sounds of people talking, a little bit of laughter. It's getting closer and closer and closer. It sounds like there's a lot of people. And eventually, you see about 12 drow that are able to be seen from what little light there is down here. And did anyone do anything to grant Kai any sort of like enhanceability or anything like that?
I am but a
I don't
bird
got nothing.
with a sharp, pointy stick.
Okay.
I have. Can I do this?
Hell yeah. You can. Your dreams can be dreams, or they can be reality, buddy.
No.
So the only thing that I have is one inspiration, but then I also have draconic presence, If I fail a charisma, intimidation, or persuasion check, I get to re-roll it and I get to do that once per encounter, and I do it until it succeeds. Then I can't do anymore.
You're already going to be rolling at advantage because you got all your homies
And I can
behind
do
you.
triple
like ghosts.
advantage.
Kind of.
Yeah, I know that's not how the math works, but yes.
Advantage plus.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'll roll bless on Kai as well.
Hell
He's
yeah,
gonna be
Tony.
the main
Just got blessed.
attractor.
is that for ability? I think that's just for attack rolls and saving throws.
Yes.
Okay, just for in case something bad does happen.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Kai, you step out
Yes.
amongst these dozen or so drow with sacks that are completely empty and what obviously look to be harvesting tools. And then they stop, dead in their tracks.
Hmm.
You look like Rusty. What do you say?
I say, I totally practiced this. I didn't. I just thought of this like a couple minutes ago. I say, you dare enter my domain? You dare enter Rusty's lair? How dare you? If you want to be alive again, please stop harvesting this fungus. This is an economical.
Ecological.
Thank you. This is it. Oh, is it?
More accurate, Rusty.
Yeah, I know. Ecological. I can't think of better words
Intimidation
for
is
this.
through the roof right now.
It's an
This is
ecological crisis.
Yeah, I was gonna say crisis, but I was like, this area is an ecological masterpiece. These shrooms are delicate, and you're destroying them. This is my domain, and if you wish to leave alive, you will not be doing this again.
Go ahead and roll intimidation for me
With
with advantage because you got your homies behind you.
oh yeah, and it says as I was doing that, after I finished it, I'd blow the horn, because then they walk forward.
Oh, okay, all right.
That
Yep.
was the
So
goal.
now your homies start walking out of the shadows with the glowingness.
So that 10, and then 19.
Let's
Natural
go,
make
baby.
plus your other stuff.
So the thing is, I have a -1 in charisma. So I don't really have anything plus.
Okay, but an 18.
Yeah.
All right.
Just nothing there.
Okay. They, you know what? Let's just to be a little bit fair about this. I'll give them a fighting chance, but this is going to be difficult.
As smart as Rusty is.
So I'm gonna have them roll with disadvantage because you scary as fuck. That's not one.
Shit their
They
pants.
themselves.
immediately shit themselves.
Yeah.
All of them violently.
One of them does.
100% Rusty.
Yeah, one of them absolutely does. He's got that fight or flight thing, but it's like when your body releases everything it doesn't need so you can be faster.
Oh my
He's
god.
out of there immediately. All of them scream and start scrambling over themselves, running to try to get away from this whatever this is.
From
and,
Rusty.
you get the idea that they probably will not be coming back, and there will be rumors about this forest being haunted.
Mission accomplished, I'd
Damn,
say.
good job,
went a
Kai.
lot better than I thought it was gonna. Nice work, guys.
Oh, they
Yeah.
running.
Word.
We definitely scared them. I don't know if they'll come. I think they'll come back slowly eventually because we won't be here. But not for
I think
I
we
don't
just
know. Did you
informed
see how that
the-
guy shit himself?
The local group that they should just patrol here and just like peek their glowiness out every once in a while.
Yeah, I was thinking if they put more of the sleepy shrooms over here, if like every time someone was over here, they like passed out or something like that, that'd be kind of mess with you. It's haunted and you fall asleep. Like what the fuck?
I think they won't be back for a long time after that.
Or they just send people better equipped.
Fight a ghost?
Nah,
Who fights ghosts?
Not after that. Rusty lives here. Ain't nobody coming back here.
Rusty blew his horn.
And he blew his britches.
Totally should have wrote that down earlier.
Cool. So I think we go report the success to
Mm-hmm.
Myconoid group.
Vanix.
So yeah, you make your way back to the camp. And Vinox is sitting there, expectant. Well, not sitting. He's milling about, overseeing the work that's being done in the village. And he lets you guys say the first word. He just kind of looks at you expectantly and leans forward a little bit.
How long did it take us for us to go from there to here? Like less than an hour?
I would say so. Yeah, it's like with Newmont's map, it would probably be like a 10-15 minute walk. Without the map, you guys would be kind of have to make some rolls.
The only reason I ask is I'd still want to look like Rusky, and I'd like to approach him and say, I think it went pretty well. I think they're pretty afraid of this. Look like him.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have too much of a surprised atmosphere about him. He's the Rusty specifically is a boogeyman for the Drow. The Myconids didn't ever really take any heed in it, nor did the symbiotes. It's just Spore Shade had, a lot that he wanted to talk about.
I was hoping you find it funny because he just looks pretty with a lamp on his head. Like it's pretty fucking funny.
He doesn't seem like the type that really understands humor very well. He's just
A fun guy.
Focused boy.
Yeah.
John,
The first
that's
time
inspiration.
doesn't
That's an inspiration.
No. I've heard that joke way too many times. He says, so it went well then.
I'd say so.
Good. Did you kill them?
No,
Nope. No killing.
No
nobody was
need.
harmed.
Okay. Well, as long as they won't be foraging more than once a month, I think we are okay. We'll be fine. I've instructed some of the people here to plant more defensive mushrooms around the area in hopes to deter them from pushing if they do come back.
If they do, just blow this horn. I think you'll send them running.
You give them a horn?
Yeah, didn't we have one that we had made or something? Or
We have one, yeah.
Yeah, you give him the horn, and he just looks at it for a moment and goes, "Noted. This will be of great use. Thank you. What do you call yourselves?"
Who wants to usually do this?
Well, this is an awkward time to bring this up in a thick Russian accent. We're called the Kintsugi, but I don't love that name. It doesn't feel like it stuck super well. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't know.
never.
Go ahead, Vicar. You got something?
Oh no, I never felt that way. I mean, I thought it was fine.
I like the
I like
concept behind it.
Kintsugi. I just feel like we never used it since we
Yeah.
made it. Like we needed it every time we played, made the name, and it has never come up again.
Yeah. It's a working title. But we're on your side. That's the most important part. And we're brothers.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was okay, personally.
Not
It's
that
okay.
bad.
It's not great. It's okay. But we're looking for something great. So, working title.
Rusty's rats.
Rusty, yeah, Rusty's rats. If you see him, let him know. Rusty's rats were here.
He looks back at the rest of you and says, "As promised, I can show you a way to discreetly get into the city, if you are interested."
Definitely.
He takes you to a well that's in the center of town. It's a very wide well. It's about 6 foot in diameter. And as you look down, it just goes down, 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 down. And you can't see, even with 120-foot dark vision that you guys have, you can't see the bottom of it. He says, "If you go down this well, you will be met with a rushing stream coming from Alwyn's lab rats. You will be met with a rushing stream that is coming from the city. We have not been able to use this well in some time because it is part of the sewer system of the city. I do not know how you plan to move upstream, but this is a way to get into the sewer systems of the city.
How fast is the water moving down there?
You can do a perception check for me. Trying to listen, because this is 120 feet away. It's going to be hard to
Yeah.
hear.
All right. We get a
400 GPM.
25.
Channel
Oh,
that cloaca.
How's
25.
that 2020 here,
You can
baby?
clearly hear that the water is moving very quickly.
So we go down.
It may be tough pushing through there. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but that water is ripping.
If you would like to find a way to come up with some sort of plan to navigate this terrain, I will leave you to it. And then Vinox kind of walks off, going back to oversee the others.
I mean, for me, it's sort of a non-issue.
Depends on how-
We all still have our water breathing potions, don't we?
I mean,
Yeah, but you're gonna get swept away. I mean, you can breathe, but you're going out the other end.
We got that elven rope, don't we?
Oh, we do.
but like, it goes with the water.
Well, Vicar can
I
fly
could
through.
fly down and maybe attach
You can look for
ropes
an anchoring
somewhere
point,
along
and
the
if you can find
side so
one.
you guys could hold on to it. I don't know what'd be down there, but if it's slick walls, I'm not sure what I could do. But if there's some sort of like maintenance access or guardrails or walkway or something down there, I could let you know.
Maybe you could go down and at least have a
Bars.
look so we can plan better.
Yeah,
this
I could do
this
that.
rope that I have holds up to 500 pounds, and then we have advantage
Kai?
on strength checks. We can do one at a time, but
like
we
the rope
would
idea.
have advantage on athletics checks for climbing.
Yep, so that'd be good to get down.
Yeah.
Yeah, like getting up is like 10 athletics checks in a row. of
How
pulling yourself.
wide is this well?
It's 6 foot in diameter. It's a very
Okay.
large rock.
I can get down and up that. So I guess I will take a glide down there and see what it looks like.
All right. Vicar hops in and it disappears after 120 feet. The well goes down for about another 50 feet before it breaks out into what is this like cavernous stream that has ripped through the rock here. Think of like Grand Canyon is too big, but that type of like water erosion pattern is all around these rocks. They're extremely sharp, very slippery, and the water's moving very quickly. There's potentially footholds or things that jut out enough where you could get a grip or tie something maybe. Other than that, it's about 5 feet from the water surface to the ceiling of this little cavern that is ripped through.
Okay.
But you're also unsure of, well, will that fluctuate in terms of...
Yeah. So I guess we have to push through the water to get into the city. We want to.
Yeah.
It's up to you. I didn't have a plan in mind for how you were going to solve this. I just gave it to you.
I was like, is it easier to fight through like 80 GPM of water or to fight gravity? Because if you can tie stuff along the ceiling and like do inverted climbing, like if we have stakes or something, you like wrap around, like you like do a stake, wrap it, and then do every like 10 feet or whatever. I don't know how far we're going, but like I feel like that would be easier to like climb along than like fucking trucking through
Yeah.
a ton of water because water is big.
Water is big.
So you ever fight the ocean? Ocean always wins.
Well put, Rusty.
God damn it.
Okay. How can I see how far we would have to go before the path became a little more like manageable?
How far are you going in?
Good question.
Well, what do I see immediately? Like, how far in can I see?
You can. What's your dark vision?
120.
See 120 feet.
All right. And do I just see 120 feet of 5 feet above water and nothing else?
You kind of have to go with the thing, so you'd have to fly in further and start to navigate it like that. So.
All right. And I will travel on a straight path for another 120 feet.
Okay. It seems like more of the same. Are you going for another 120 feet?
So it's been 240 feet that I can see now. And or is it windy so I can't see
It's
that far?
windy. It's it's like what I said, the Grand Canyon. It's like the water rips through the rock in certain ways. So there's actually elements where you're flying upstream. There's elements where you're flying downstream a little bit, and it's kind of like it's like a tunnel, but it's carved by water.
This sounds relatively impassable for you guys. I'm just gonna come back.
Yeah, I got that was the only day I had.
Yeah, that's because if it's over 120 feet of like.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's just 120 feet that you know about so far.
Right.
You can see 120 feet, but you moved 120 feet.
So I traveled 120 feet through it, right?
And
but I'm
you
saying
can
that.
Do a perception check for me after 120 feet of movement.
All right.
Yeah, because I guess what you're looking for is like a.
I got a 23.
23. After you get to an area where you move up a bit, you're thinking, "Oh, damn, this is going to be more of the same." And then with the 23 perception, you're hearing like what sounds like a waterfall. Do an intelligence check for me, or a survival check.
Falls in.
So either nature.
Vicar.
Okay, yeah, we got a. That would be a. You said nature or what?
Nature or survival.
It'd be a 16.
16. You get the sense, based on how this has gone so far, that 120 feet is a rapid that is going down more, and the sound that you're hearing is the top of that rapid. Things might start mellowing out after about that length.
Okay. And then over that course of 120 feet and on the way back, I would like to. You said, I don't know how much detail I can get out of this, but you said there's just like random footholds here and there. How does Vicar feel about what he's seen in terms of like its passability to his group? Like, can I facilitate passage?
It depends on how you want to do this. If you're an experienced climber, you could probably do this okay. It would be a little tricky because of the slippery rocks.
All right.
But the footholds are enough to the point where you still have grip. You guys do have pisons and rope with you, so you could make like every couple of feet a check that to stop you from moving backwards. And the ceiling has more or less the same. There's only 5 feet of space, so your party members that are like 6'2", part of them is going to have to be in the water. You're unsure about how that will affect anything.
Okay, so yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. All right, I will.
The other thing to mention, there's no checks for this, but the smell is ungodly. It is not fun being in here.
Gotcha. Well, I think it smells like home to Vicar, honestly.
Sewers.
Mm-hmm. So, I will fly back up, and I will say nothing about the smell because to me, it's nothing.
Okay. I immediately put my hand over my nose.
Oh yeah, Vicar smells like shit.
Yeah.
Ooh, flying.
Anyways, It's rough down there.
Smells
it's
like it.
It's about, I would say, almost a 200-foot drop down, and then once you get down there, there's very limited footholds. I mean, there's enough that you could try to walk by, but the rocks are slippery, and the clearance is only 5 feet. So anyone taller than that is either going to be hunched over or partially in the water, and I think it's going to be tough. We could try to attach ourselves to stuff as we move forward, so you don't get swept away, but it's a possibility.
Can I ask the main mushroom guy? I forget what his name is. Where does this passage lead us to? Like, where will we come out in the city?
Yeah, you go to Venox, and he comes back to the rest of the party to tell everybody. This will take you into the sewer system of the city. I am unfamiliar with the layout and terrain of the city. However, I'm sure that there will be sewer grates that you can come out of at random intervals throughout the city. I have no idea which specific grate would be where. That would be.
Where does it come out the other side? Where's the water going?
I don't think he knows.
It just continues further into the Underdark. I have no idea.
That's awful. I was hoping you'd say there was a lake or something down, that it comes out into. But yeah, so basically, if you fuck up, you get launched in darkness, deeper somewhere into the Underdark. So
If you fuck
die.
up, you die.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe we shouldn't do this because also, we come out of a random sewer grate in the city, all smelling like shit.
Yep.
I don't know how conspicuous that really is, anyways.
I mean, the drow smell like shit, don't they, or no?
I mean, you got
No,
prestidigitation.
the drow that you've come across are fairly elegant. They have
That was
really
more of a
nice...
diss towards the drow than an actual fact.
Wait, what?
Like just,
okay.
I'm just shit talking the drow.
Okay.
But good to know.
Fucking egg blades.
Anyways, yeah, I think
Drider?
probably
Is the Drider still around?
it's waiting for us outside of the forest where we left it.
Can the Drider carry us
about what?
on the ceiling?
The
I don't-
Drider's thorax is bigger than 5 feet.
Oh, okay. Big bitch.
The only other thing I could think of, I know we were just trying to prevent this, but if there's any mushrooms that are really big, I don't know how buoyant those are, but you could take the tops off and that would be less resistance than your body if you're sitting on a mushroom top.
Venox cuts in and says, there are mushrooms that would support the weight of a few of you, for sure.
That's all I got.
And what are we gonna surf up the raging river?
It's like it's better than having your body in the water. Like you just be like with a rope.
I suppose.
That's all I got. That's the only thing I can think of.
Keep the lip from dipping into the water and
just flipping.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah. No, yeah, that's
what are our other options? And B, are we trying to get in the city for some reason? What were you doing with that? Is that
to free or
to free the symbiotes in there?
Yeah,
was that the idea?
They have the slave camp there. A, B, they would potentially be able to give us answers on how the folks up at Norhaven came about their symbiotes and what the bigger plan is for all of that.
I think information's probably the goal more than going in there and busting out all the slaves right now.
Well,
that would be the last thing.
Yeah.
How are we going to get this information?
Going through the city gate, but I don't know how that would work.
Well, it would depend on how good our disguises were.
Yeah, if Newmont looks like...
I could look like a drow. I just need to...
I can make us all look like drow.
That's going to be a stretch as a 4-foot bird person.
Hey.
If a couple of us could look like drow, we could have them taking us in as prisoners, maybe. I don't know.
Have fun being a slave.
Yeah, that's true. We could do that. I could also just fly in, but
you could look for an entrance that's maybe more like
Do an intelligence
conspicuous.
check for me, Vicar.
All right. I get an 11.
Average bird.
Good to know. All right.
All right. But the issue is that once I was in there, I'd still be a bird, right? So
You can fly.
yeah, I could just never touch the ground.
Yeah, like could you look for maybe somewhere in the city gates that isn't that defended, or I don't know, there's a weak spot. It'd probably be
Yeah,
easier to scale
potentially.
the wall of the walls of the city than go through that tunnel by the sounds of it. So
Well, let's can we
Yeah, the
go
well
and
ain't looking too good.
look at
No.
the city
And not be captured as
from
slaves.
afar? Yeah, just to like observe.
I have another idea
So,
where we
like
inform the Drider that we're going to lie to the Drow and say we found a Drider in our travels and heard whispers of reward to get us into the city. And then if they want to know where, we can lead them to this part of the forest
with an ambush set.
and ambush them, and we escape and say that the Drider has reinforcements and lie about where the ambush took place.
So I'm okay with this, but only if we have drow disguises. It's in mid of battle, chaos rushing around, so it makes more sense. But they specifically said that only drow know about the reward, and even if we heard about it, I don't think they're gonna care if we're human.
well, we don't all have to go. Like we
Yeah,
could
yeah, yeah.
disguise two of us maybe or something, because
That's
it's gonna be
fine.
hard to get us
Yeah.
all disguised.
Splitting the group. Historically great idea.
I hate it. I hate it.
what other ideas you got, Vicar?
Hey, I'm just saying.
You go fly down that poop chute again while we talk about the plan.
Well, I was thinking like if he could fly all the way in there and get to the end, like could that help us? Could that not help us? I don't know.
Because if we go through the sewer, I'm still a bird in there. You know, it doesn't matter where we get in. If we're walking around, we're not drow. So that has to be part of it.
It seems like new mods are key to doing any bamboozling of these guys. So
Yeah, I already look like half drow. So
Wonder why that is.
It was you who was carousing, right? Kaiser?
I was, yeah.
What'd you roll?
don't get
again?
any funny ideas, Kai.
I rolled.
I think it was like a 16 or something like that.
I thought it was like a 9, maybe not.
Those are very different rolls.
I can't even see my rolls from before.
I thought it was like a 17.
A 17.
Is it nat
Yeah.
20? Oh wow. All right.
17. Okay, I don't think that's quite high enough to gain super in-depth information about that. Never mind.
Fair.
So our objective is to
So-
get into the city and find out where the slaves are, right? Like that's one of our big objectives. Not free them, but just find that out.
What happened? Where they are?
Yeah.
Yeah. How deep the Underdark goes?
How-
Probably.
How I don't know if I would remember this, but you know, if not, then we could always just go check. But what is the layout around the city? Like, is it built into like a mountain? Is it in a cavern? You know, with lots of space above it? How many guard towers are there?
I don't know, but
That
what
sort of
could we
thing.
see from where the Drider left us off? You know, because we could kind of see it, right?
Basically, what the idea I'm trying to get is, can I circle above and just kind of follow them around without being down in there?
In just the random caves or in the city?
In the city.
I had you roll for this earlier, and you didn't roll high enough.
Oh, okay. Well, so is it that I don't remember what it looks like?
You guys haven't been to the city yet.
Okay, so then we'll have to go check that out, because that's something that I could see working, is that Kai uses his disguise hat, and then we can set the rest of you guys up as drow. I could make myself a drow child, couldn't I?
A furry
With
one.
wings? With wings.
I think if
So
you were,
sick!
if you were
Right.
wearing the hat of disguise, it would be possible. I'm gonna say you have proficiency with the disguise kit. It's not
Okay,
enough to
good.
like take a literal
Wait,
bird
that got me.
and make it into
A little drow kid running around. Fuck.
I thought I was able to do that. I'm not gonna
not
lie.
with the disguise kit. You could like maybe make one of the humans look like an elf, like maybe make an ear like a prosthetic. But going from
Okay.
a bird person to if you roll can you roll a 30? Is it possible for you to roll a
No.
30? Okay.
Wait, what's the sleight of? Is it sleight of hand for it?
That would be your you'd have to have expertise. Well, it would be your proficiency plus your dexterity.
Then no, it's not possible.
Okay. At later levels it might be possible, but a 30 is like an impossible check. So
All right, that's fair. So then, back to my original idea of we make everybody else look like drows, and I will just circle above. And
Please, can we take a day just to see if you could be a drought child? I don't know why.
no,
I love that.
I can't roll
It's so
on.
sick.
you know what? Go
Yeah.
ahead and roll disguise kit for me. Just
All
for
right.
shits and giggles. We'll see how close you can get.
Is this an
To a
attack
drought
roll?
baby.
All right. Well, the first one is a 16, so that's not gonna do it.
Got rid of one wing.
So with a 16, he basically bathes in charcoal and then comes back to the rest of you guys. And he gave himself
Good, right?
ear prosthetics, but he still is clearly a bird with a beak and like black feathers, and it's not quite there.
He's
So
a
he
great
put
bird.
on blackface. Got it.
Yeah,
He's
he basically
blackface.
just blackface.
Oh, okay,
Shadows in
John
the
playing a
party.
blackface character. Okay, buddy, I see you.
Hey, that's Vicar, not me. All right.
Mm,
Anyways,
Someone's pulling the strings back there. I don't know, bro.
no, we're telling a story. This is
Right,
just
yes, yeah.
an
Not
arbiter of
historically
this story.
accurate. Got it.
The
Exactly.
story of Vicar the Blackface.
All right. Yeah. Anyways,
Bird lives
d-
matter, guys. Come on.
now that we're on the topic of blackface, let's go to a different topic, which is let's go check out the city and see what it looks like.
So
Okay,
we want to
yeah.
go through the entrance that we're at and try to stealth it our way there.
Are we all going, or is Vicar flying and just checking out the city from afar and then letting us know? Are we all just gonna run up to the city and
Well, I
stare
don't
at the
really
walls?
I don't think we should run up to the city, but maybe we can like even if we can be like a mile from the city, like looking at it, you know.
How far are we to the first like observation point where we can look and see the city?
It
from a
would be
distance?
about half a day's journey.
And then from that point to the city, how far would that be? Like if we want to go from there directly to the front gate.
It would be a fairly short distance. Once you guys can see the city, there's not a ton of openings in the middle dark that are huge and cavernous for cities. You've been told before in the by the Gray Book that the lower dark is where a majority of the drow cities are. That's where the most space is. The middle dark only has a select few locations that are wide enough, so the city predominantly occupies most of the space that is available.
Okay.
So by
why
the
don't
time
we
you can see it, it's going to be like a 15-minute walk until you're at the front gates.
Why don't we go to the OP and make the decision there after we do a little recon?
Yeah, agreed.
All right, easily enough done. Venox thanks you for your help and tells you that the way to get to the city is exactly where you just were. You just keep walking, follow this tunnel. Don't take any strafes. Just follow the main tunnel, and you'll get there.
Before we leave, Cassian is gonna do his typical like super formal honorary like thank you for your time and your service and your help and like like the froofy shit that he does to make everyone feel like they're important. He's gonna basically kiss the ring of the myconoids and let them know like, hey, you helped a lot and we appreciate it.
Roll a
Just
persuasion
warm
check
up.
for me.
Persuasion.
Also, Sid, did you have the time to talk to all of the symbiotes in the manner that you wanted to, or is there any unfinished business you have here?
They don't believe me entirely, so it's just a matter of proving the point.
I see.
I rolled an 11 plus 6 for a 17.
17. Venox looks at you as you're giving this formal. He's a very formal guy. You can tell just by his demeanor. he thanks you in kind and says, "If there is anything that we can do to realistically help you and your friends, let us know. There is a large battle to commence at some point in the future. You can call on us for aid, and we will send those fit to fight."
Cassian definitely extends a hand. Before we leave, it's important for you to know that there is a greater evil at work. And somehow it is obvious to us that the evil is at work here, but with your help, we have made progress for good. At the end of the day, we understand that those who walk the face of the earth, who have a pure heart, they deserve a place here. And we are doing our best to combat something far bigger than us, and we will not forget you and your people.
You fight for a worthy cause, and you are a just and fair group of people. I extend this to you as well to help in your journey. And he puts his arms beside him, and he closes what you think are probably his eyes. They're kind of weird. They're mostly just like little socket pockets in the different sinew. They kind of close up a little bit, and his mushroom cap glows that purple pink bioluminescent light. Little mushrooms on his shoulders and the rest of his body do the same, and these spores slowly start to come out over all of you at the party. And Cassian, what are you thinking when that happens?
Cassian would be thinking back on the Gray Code and how, although him and his party mates and his brothers are unsure of what the future holds, we understand that everything we're pursuing is for a greater good, and we know that we're fighting something bigger than us, and many of us, if not all of us, are prepared to die for an unseen good versus an unseen evil. We don't understand the full gravity of the situation, but we know that we're here for a reason, and that because we've taken an oath to each other, we understand that it doesn't really matter what we're facing against. It doesn't matter how big the bad guy is. It doesn't matter how evil the world gets. We all have a shared mindset, and we're just thankful. And Cassian's thankful for having met the Myconoids, and he's thankful for being able to be given a chance to help a people group that, at the end of the day, they live here, they exist here, they go through their business, and if there's something bigger and evil that's trying to take that over, that at least he felt like he did something good.
Okay. The rest of you, in your heads from Cassian, clearly, for some reason you can hear this. You hear the Gray Code from him, and you get this strong sense of duty and heroism. But you can hear it in your head. And as you think the Gray Code, Cassian, you notice that what's Cassian's eye color?
Cassian has fuck, I haven't even thought about this for a long time. Give me a second. I think I wrote it down somewhere.
I think brown.
No, he has hazel eyes.
Oh.
Like brown orange eyes, hazel eyes.
His
Brown, green, orange.
You see his eyes glow in this greenish, mossy color as he's thinking this. All of you, amongst yourselves, have the casting of Rary's telepathic bond for the next 24 hours, which means that you guys can communicate via your thoughts.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Fuck
God.
yeah, that's sick.
We got medieval radios, boy.
You have no idea.
Nice.
You have no idea what the span of like how far you have to be
No.
from each other is, but you do know that you can speak to each other at least within a certain range.
No one think too much, please.
You don't get like thought feedback
Oh,
unless
God,
someone
just like, oh,
wants you to
shit.
talk to it.
So
Just
could I
the
convey
initial-
an entire battle plan in
God
a split
damn,
second?
that Strider kind of hot.
Bro, her titties are just out.
I slap Vicar over the head.
Holy shit.
What, you don't get fear boners?
Well,
You're just a freaking drow kid. Gotta start acting like it.
What'd you say, Joe?
No, I was like, when Vicar said that, Kazar looks at the ground.
thinking of Ilara.
That top
This guy
hat really
knows what
did
I'm
it for him.
talking about.
Woof. Woof. This is
What
how
was the name of the
celebrities-
spell, Jacob?
Rary's telepathic bond.
Rary's telepathic bond.
Various.
It's also just telepathic bond. It's written in there two different ways.
Oh.
Do we know what Rary's is, or is that something specific to
A
us?
lot of
Or
the spells
No.
are just like that for some reason.
okay,
It's,
all right.
it's deeply lore based about the people who made the spells way back when.
I
I have
understand.
Melf's minute meteors.
Yep.
All right, Melf.
Or Jim's
Help
magic
acid
missile.
arrow too.
Above table, there is a lengthy universe of D&D books, like novels that have been written, and a lot of these spells that have names are from that extended universe. So
It's probably
if
kinda
you're a
cool.
reader, there's some cool shit out there.
It is really cool, especially when you get into the stuff like Elminster and all that.
Yeah.
But, anywho, yeah. So you don't know everything about the spell. I just said that so that you guys would know kind of
Yeah.
as a group that
Got
you can telepathically communicate.
Cool. Yeah.
All right, so let's
Can
go
we take a
check
pee
this.
break before we
Yeah,
get
yeah,
started?
yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll be back in 10 minutes. Is that enough time?
Call
Sure.
5. I ain't trying to dilly dally. It was a Monday sesh.
All right.
Call 5.
You know what? Let's all be back here at 7:45. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
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 Mm.
a dryad, and
That you guys
we
rescued.
saved him.
But all the slaves got eaten.
All the slaves got eaten.
Cassian would relay that in undercommon.
Okay. Roll a deception check for me. Also, please turn your camera back on for Dave's thing.
No. Tony wants to be a fucking dickhead. This is what Dave gets.
He's back.
That's par for the course, my guy. I don't know how you get
That ain't
mad
new
about
here,
that.
baby.
Oh, deception, you said, correct?
Yes, because this is a blatant lie.
Believable.
13 plus 3 for 16.
16. I'm going to roll an insight for them. Let's see. I think as guards who are questioning someone, he's going to get an additional D4 to figure out if he has proficiency or, whatever other bonuses he might have. That's a fucking 7. So he kind of looks you up and down, looks the rest of you guys. Vicar, what did you make him look like, out of curiosity? Are you guys kind of like gruff as drow? Or are you more...
Excellent.
I probably would have mimicked them after the only drow I've seen, which were the 2 warriors that we fought earlier.
You guys didn't take their armor.
Mm-mm.
But you can... I'm going to say that you could have, like, retroactively gone in with, like, mascara and then done some of those intricate line work pieces on their clothes to make them look a little more elvish. Go ahead and roll a disguise check for me.
Okay.
So that would be dexterity plus proficiency.
I'm going to use my inspiration on this.
All right. What did you roll for your first one?
I rolled a 5. And you'll never guess what I rolled for the second one.
A 4.
5.
Also a 5. But it's plus 7, so it's a 12.
He accidentally writes "fuck you" in Elvish.
Let me see if they can get... You've got to be fucking kidding me. That's a natural 1 with the 3 on the D4. It passes. You know,
yeah.
As you go up to the gates, you know that this is not a good disguise.
It's not my best work.
It's not your best work.
There's 5 of you.
You had 3
as you get to the front gate, you look over at Sid and you realize you like facepalm for a second. You forgot to put pointy ears on him. He doesn't have any pointy ears. He's just blackface Sid.
Holy shit.
But for some reason they're focused more on Cassian because Cassian is the one that's going to be speaking up here, and they're focused on you because you're strange. You're an anomaly to them. Just enough to get by. The second you're in the city, you need to rethink some things pretty quick.
Can I adjust their disguise?
Not now. You have to wait until you get inside. But
yeah, that's what I mean. Like once we're in the city.
Yeah, I'll let you
find an alleyway and
readdress that issue.
We're so fucked. In my head.
So they asked you a question. They're still waiting on an actual answer back from you.
What? I thought we gave them.
What is your business?
Asking.
Yeah, he told
What
them.
is your business? You guys are still trying to talk about what's...
Yeah, he did, and they bought it.
Okay. Yeah. That's my bad. So, they look at you and be like, why didn't you just enslave him? He looks generally at the rest of you as drow. It's like, that's a rare find right there. I would have taken that in a heartbeat.
I'm just going to say in my head to... What's his face? Sid.
I bring a lot more slaves than
Cassian.
Than just one.
Yeah. We could get more slaves from this one person.
Sid, Vicar, do you say that out loud?
No. It's just in my head.
Okay.
To Cassian.
All
right. Can I take an above table real quick? I just want to be. I don't want to fuck this up. I want to make sure I get this right. What is Vicar? What is your backstory that we laid out?
That I'm a slaver and that I was bringing slaves down to sell to the drow, and I got attacked by the Drider and they killed all my slaves. And that's you guys saved me from the Drider, and I sell my slaves
I wouldn't
to
say
you.
we saved you intentionally. We came across that interaction at like the same time and came under attack as well.
And maybe I made an agreement to sell my slaves to you guys specifically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The next shipment of slaves that come through. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So I guess so. Rather than going to get more slaves, we came here instead.
Yeah, because
Well, I
he was
have-
fucked up. Because he was
Yeah.
fucked up.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
I'm gonna say as part of your kind of shitty disguise kit thing, you add you take a red marker and draw some lines in your face to make it look like you got fucked up a little bit.
Hey, it's a 12. It's not a 2, okay? Like,
Yeah,
come
no,
on, man.
it could be worse, but they're not very perceptive at the moment, so you got lucky this time.
To help out Vicar in a slight tangent, he said there was 5 of us. I mean, I don't know if say like 4, but I was like, technically my disguise should look pretty believable, but he would have to disguise himself. So I
Yeah,
guess it's
of
5.
everybody, your disguise is the most accurate because you could literally model it after any of the drow that you've seen, and it would be a perfect representation of it. But you'd be
These-
taller than a normal drow.
Cassian.
Go ahead, Cassian.
This man brings lots of business to our city. It's important for me to attend to his wounds and take care of him because every fucking week he brings slaves to the city for you and your people to extort. He is one of us.
I'm gonna need you to when you
Wait.
say that.
Hold on. What?
Roll another deception check. The DC is going to be pretty easy on this because you already succeeded 1, but that was like a character moment where you got a little heated, so
That's a 14 plus 6.
you're still fine.
Okay.
You people.
You
everybody's-
fucking people.
Everybody's got rusty brain today.
Our people.
No.
He goes, all right. I didn't know. He just that would fetch a lot of money in my eyes. I mean, I'd pay top dollar for an exotic thing like that. Of course, I'm a fucking guard. I don't even have a sleeve. Fuck my life, I guess. All right. Is that your only business? What's your business to actually be here? Is it to bring this exotic entity into the city and
I need a beer, and he needs some fucking bandages for his wounds. We won't
So
be
then I can
long.
go back up.
Yeah, he looks closely at Vicar and goes, "Yeah, those look pretty bad." All right. And then he waves to the other guards to open up the gate, and from the inside you see these big stone doors swing slowly outwards, and you guys have entrance to the city. But before you get there, he puts out his hand in a suggestive manner, like
10 gold.
he gets a little bit wide-eyed and he goes, "Guy must bring you a shit ton of business."
I told you! And I curse in fucking undercommon.
I'm in. You hear as you guys are walking in, the gates are closing behind you. I'm in the wrong line of work. Slaving is the way to go, man. I'm telling you,
shit.
get down. And then the gates close. You
see
are
Sid,
officially in the
angrily
city.
shudder.
Sorry.
Sid angrily shudders, thinking of just the slaves in general are all.
Yep. They're not
his
gonna.
people.
They're not gonna see it. I'm not gonna make them even roll for it. You are in the city of what is the city called? You are in the city of Gloom Shroud Spires, but you are surrounded now by a bustling crowd of very predominantly drow. But you see a shit ton of elves walking around as well. None of them look good. And they don't look like any elves that you've ever seen before. They look, for the most part, very close to Khazar. But a lot of them here look like, take Khazar's race of elf and force them into an environment that they were never comfortable being in for several generations. And how that would affect the makeup of their genetics and how they adapt to the environment.
Like regressive evolution, basically.
Exactly. They're more gaunt than Khazar is. They have less of the rosiness. They have very, very pale skin. Like, we're talking, take Irish and turn it up like another dial. If your original was more like Italian. And they also have this... Their hair is not white like the drow, but it is, for the most part, predominantly very blonde, very light-colored hair. Khazar I'm not sure what color hair does Kazir have.
Let's see.
I always pictured it as like a blonde, but I never knew for sure.
Yeah, it was a blonde, but I don't know if it's like. I think it's like a lighter blonde. So I
It's
have
like a
to-
platinum blonde, almost white.
These guys have definitely platinum blonde. I'm not sure what Kazir has, but these guys are very platinum blonde. Their eyes also, Kazir, your eyes. I'm gonna add this in here because there's lore reasons for this. Your eyes are a faded yellow. They're not typical of most elves. The eyes of this race or sub-race or whatever of elves that are here are milky white for the most part. But you do see some people that look almost word for word like Kazir walking around.
Oh.
All of them have thick collars around their neck and are very clearly wearing poor quality clothing. Even when you see some of these more aristocratic looking drow walking by, the slaves are dressed significantly better than some of the other slaves of different standings, but they're not wearing
Mhm.
highest quality. They're like wearing the highest quality H&M clothes, you know? So that's just kind of what you observe the second you step into the space, and you immediately start to panic because this is not good enough for how many people are around you. Someone's going to notice pretty quickly you guys are not drow.
Yeah, I would want to have immediately, as we got in, found a secluded space where I could address these issues.
You're from a city. You know how to navigate cities fairly well. Roll a survival check with advantage for me as you try to find some sort of back alley or something that's not suspicious to dip into to do this work.
All right. It's I think I have +0 on survival, don't I? Yeah. So first one's
Add proficiency.
it's a natural 20, so don't worry about
Natural
that.
20. All right, yeah.
I found the best spot.
The
You
card
found
appears.
the best spot. There's a perfect alley. Like as you step into the city, you're like that alleyway now, and you point, and it just like it's just wide enough for Kai to fit through comfortably, but just out of the way enough where nobody's going to immediately walk in and look at that exact direction. And you guys are all kind of huddled around Vicar, I would assume at this point. Go ahead and make another disguise check for me,
More
Vicar.
accurate Vicar.
Bow, 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 bow. Street boy.
Well, guys,
Another 5.
it's a 6. So it's a 13. It is slightly better. I put the ears on.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you put Sid's ears back on. You're like, all right, that was the fucking cake. That was just good.
Holy shit.
You're like, whew, that was a close one.
Yeah.
In your eyes, you think that this is probably passable. In game, you think that this is probably passable.
Oh,
Out
shit.
of game, it's going to
Dog
be a little serious interactions you start having with people. You're going to have to start making more checks. So, what do you guys want to do?
Well, during this, like usually Kazir would have his mask on. This is one of the rare times he doesn't because we're disguised. And since we walked in the city, you can just see a look of dread and disgust wash over his face. And like as we're in this alleyway, I'm just stood staring out, just watching people pass by, and I'm just, you can tell, just really distraught.
Do we sense anything via the telepathy?
I would say that you feel. What is your strongest emotion? Fear, anger,
Probably a mix of sadness and anger.
disgust?
Yeah, probably sadness and anger, really.
You feel intense waves of sadness and anger coming from Kazir. At first, you're thinking like, "Why am I feeling?" And then you realize what the source is coming from. It's not like you're not in his head, but there's like you have a more in tune sense of what the headspace is.
I walk over to Kazir and just kind of like nudge his shoulder and just kind of stand with him. Since
As you
I'm
stand,
feeling the same emotions to an extent.
I was about to say, as you stand next to him and you start looking out, trying to comfort him, do a perception check for me, Sid. You got to beat a 10.
Perception, I am a +2. I got a 6.
6 plus
Kaiser, do a
anything?
perception check for me as you're looking out.
14.
14. Sid is too worried about comforting you to notice this. Every now and then, as you're looking out amongst the crowd, there is one entity that is significantly taller than those around it. And it is clearly some amalgamation of drow and symbiote hybrid that is walking around. Almost all of them are wearing are they have like these whips around them and are leading chains of slaves, like multiple groups of slaves at a time.
I guess I would kind of do a low key gesture and point in that direction. But I'm afraid you're the only one that truly understands how I feel, Sid. But
And
we have to stop this.
You notice as soon as he points it out, and you hear in your head, "Let me take over. Let me do this. I need this now." Do you try to repress it or no?
Yes, I would for the sake of the group. Since we just entered, we don't have our bearings.
Roll a. I'm going to call this a will check. So wisdom is the closest thing that I can think to it.
Was it like a wisdom?
A wisdom saving throw. He's trying. You feel. He's trying
Sorry,
to take.
guys. I got a 1.
Oh
Feast
my
out!
fucking
Let the
God.
feast out!
You have an
Inspiration.
inspiration?
Yeah, that is an
Yeah.
inspiration for you for sure.
I
You
do-
see, Sid you feel like this inner conflict because there's two voices in your head giving two conflicting emotions for the rest of the party.
Oh,
Kaiser was one
Jesus.
wave of anger and sadness, and then you feel absolute rage and sheer dominance of will that isn't quite strong enough, and then you can see from his pores this black ichor starts coming out. He just you hear bones cracking a little bit, and he gets
This
big.
emotion is being conveyed telepathically as well.
Yeah.
So the party would be feeling this, and
Are we still in the alley?
You're still in the alley. You're still hidden because Vicar rolled a natural 20, so I'm not going to make any. No one's going to make perception checks against you guys. If he hadn't done that, this would definitely be a case where that would be an issue.
Numa,
So-
do you have
I
any
wanna-
sleepy spores that you could
I wa-
cram into his mouth?
I want to.
He's
I
hungry,
want to
right?
shoulder. I want to shoulder check Sid into the wall and put my right hand, right next to his skull, pushed up against the wall, and look at him dead in the eyes and say, "Sid, this will cost us the life of the entire party. Focus for just a moment. We will have our revenge."
Sid's eyes are blank. Sid is not there.
You are talking to a brick wall at this point. What's the name of your symbiote? I forget.
Malachor.
Malachor.
Do you not have an inspiration you can roll?
No, he has an inspiration, but this is a story moment. This is a character.
Oh, okay.
Malachor looks at you dead in the eyes, Sid, and goes, "It's nice to meet you face to face, but I'm in control now." And he begins to walk out of the alley. What are you guys doing?
I would grab his arm since I was right there, and I would look into his eyes and say I know it's not my friend I'm speaking to, but that pain you feel inside, I feel it too. And I'll point and I'll say, those are my people out there as much as they are yours. And I want revenge just as much as you do. But there is no way we get it if you walk out of that alleyway right now. You doom this whole plan.
Roll a persuasion check.
18.
18. He looks at you, and you feel intimidated by this because, unlike Kai, who's big but generally very gentle, he looks like he wants to rip everything apart, regardless of what it is, and make it as painful as possible. And he looks you dead in the eyes, and he stoops down in this hulking way that makes him look somehow even bigger, stooped over. And he says, "Can you promise me death and destruction?"
I can promise you the demise of anyone that would do this to our people.
I will bide my time a bit longer. Not Will. Sid, roll a wisdom saving throw for me with advantage.
Wisdom. The first one's a 16.
16 will do it.
The second one's
You-
a 16.
What?
It's now more of a symbiotic relationship again. He took over completely for a second, and now you guys are on the level. This isn't going to count against you as using one of your abilities, by the way. This was Malachor took over by himself. This was not you using it. But I'm going to say that you have this ability active for an hour, and you can use it as if it was just normal to you, and he's not going to take over. But you run the risk of him taking over. Like right now, you have
Control.
that you have control of yourself and of this form. If you choose to use it for an hour, that's up to you. If you choose to repress it and make him go back down completely, that's also up to you.
Looking, glancing back to where Kazar pointed, is that drow symbiote person the only one in the group? Like, do they clearly stand out, or is there a bunch of them?
They clearly stand out, but there are more than one. There's not a bunch. There's a bunch of elvish slaves. Like, there's a ton of elvish slaves, but there's only a handful of these guys that you see passing through on occasion. How long are you standing here looking at this, trying to figure out what's happening?
I'd say a good 15 seconds looking around.
In 15 seconds, you only see the one.
Okay. I would say because it's a infrequent sight, I'm gonna repress it entirely to not stand out and try and preserve the stealthiness of the group for now.
Okay. You hear in the back of your head, I will have my revenge. And that's just all you hear. And he's quiet, and your mind feels clear for the time being.
You okay, Sid?
I'm gonna take a couple heavy breaths, kind of just from pure shock really, and just be like, I had no idea that I wasn't fully in control of that. I'm sorry.
Well, you picked a good place to do it.
Can't promise the next place will be any better.
Just do your best. Let's get this over with quickly. And tell your friend to chill the fuck out.
You guys have some pretty shitty disguises, and you're ready to rock and roll. What do you guys choose to do? Where are you going? What are you thinking?
Is there
Oh, you know what?
clear...
I forgot about this. Newmont, as you're
Yes.
waiting for your turn to get your your shit done, roll a perception check for me. Kind of just try to keep a general eye out to make sure everything's on the level.
23.
23. Even though Vicar found the perfect hiding spot, someone noticed you. Kazar and Sid were very focused on their very relevant issues. But you feel for them, but you're also trying to keep a general eye out. There's what clearly looks to be a hooded figure. Like with the 22, it's female. You can tell for sure. At some sort of distance, keeping an eye on the rest of you. As soon as you catch her eye, she immediately disappears back into the crowd.
Guys, we are definitely being watched and have been noticed.
How the fuck is that possible?
Ninjas.
I
Man.
don't know. Maybe these disguises aren't that good.
You shut your poor mouth, Newmont. I'd like to
Either
think you
from
do any
in
better.
or somewhere with a room that we can get to immediately
Yeah.
to figure something out.
All right.
It's a city. There's inns everywhere. Vicar, you've never been to a drow city before, but again, you're familiar with elvish style cities. Go ahead and roll survival with advantage plus add your proficiency as well. Why not?
Okay.
When I noticed the hooded figure, could I tell if she was drow or not, or just kind of got that she had a female body type?
You would need a 25 to know for sure what their race was, because it was obviously trying to be concealed and inconspicuous, and as soon as she was noticed, she disappeared. With the 22, you knew it was very clearly female.
Okay.
16.
16. Yeah. There's clearly places where you would think, oh, social hubs would probably be around these areas. And I'm going to say you navigate people with your natural 20 from before through back alleyways to get to what is a drow version of an inn. You see, as you guys, are you walking in or are you just identifying where one is?
Alright, go get us a room.
Huh?
Well, maybe Kai and Cassian.
I would like
could
to
do
think
that.
to myself in telepathic, do you think they would understand Elvish? I don't know if that would go
No.
well.
The drow or the other race of elf?
The drow. The other race of elf may be not. They may have never been taught it.
I wouldn't risk it unless we
I
hear
think
it
you and
spoken.
Cassian should
Yeah.
get the
Yeah, I'll
room.
stand behind him and look relevant.
Before we do that, are we still in the alleyway?
You're still in the alleyway at the moment, yeah.
Good alleyway.
Vicar, can you just do a quick, just peek your head out of the alleyway and see if you can find any thieves' cant scoured into the side of a building or a post or something. We would benefit from some stealth here, and if we can just peek around and see if we can see anything.
Sure.
The shadier the bar, the better at this point, my friend.
All right, Vicar, do a perception check for me. Or an investigation check, your choice.
Well, that's a nat 1, so
Doesn't matter.
Even within that one, I'm going to say that you do find some scratchings and markings. Probably thieves' cant. Can't understand a word of it.
I think they may use a different kind of thieves' cant down here.
Well, it was worth a shot. I just think if we go to the rough part of town, we'd have better luck than walking around and finding the first bar or inn that we find.
I agree, but we don't want to get spotted either.
I'm not even sure that's true.
Still coasting off of Vicar's Nat 20. You can navigate the entire party through back alleyways, for the most part, into different types of areas. If you're going to go out and do something like, oh, I want to back alleyway to a specific shop, no, that's not going to happen. But if you want to back alleyway your situation to a shadier part of town or a moderate part of town, that's fine. Once you start getting into higher society, that's not going to work anymore.
Yeah. Do we think shady would be better than just normal?
Probably normal.
I think
maybe?
normal, because the shadier the area, the more likely they're going to try to kidnap me.
Yeah, I'm worried
honestly.
about Vicar.
That's what I was
Somewhere
thinking.
really poor.
Yeah.
The more high end part of town, the more they're just going to report us to the
Oh, yeah.
authorities. So
Not high end.
Let's
not
find
high
a
end.
section, like a neighborhood next to Section 8. Like you can see Section 8 through
Section
the
8
window.
adjacent.
Okay. You find a Section 8 adjacent area.
Perfect.
You know what? Actually, roll me a survival check to see how long it takes you to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I got
No
this.
advantage, but I'll allow you to add your proficiency to it. If you
Who's
don't.
rolling it?
You,
I
Vicar.
got
Just
He's
Vicar.
navigating us, right?
It's
Yeah.
a 10.
10. It takes you a couple hours, but you do find that area. So you guys are tired at this point. You've had a half a day's journey to get here. It's been a couple hours to find this area. This is probably the point where you'd like to start bedding down anyways. You find a Section 8 adjacent inn.
So I would tell Cassian, get an upstairs room so Vicar doesn't have to walk through the lobby. Fly him up.
I could climb in the window of any room, honestly, right? But yeah, it just as long as it's an exterior.
Right. Cassian and Vicar, I'm assuming you guys head inside.
No, it's gonna be probably Kai and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Cassian.
Kai and
I'll go alone.
Well,
Okay.
Kai is the most like visually appealing, so I thought he might just be there for eye candy. to add
I
validity.
can also
Tall.
speak Undercommon,
Oh,
so I could go with Cass.
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah,
Me neither.
So, okay. What do you
Who's
guys?
going? Who's going? Kai or
I
Kazan?
think Kazir should stay outside with the rest of people in case they, for some reason, get addressed while outside.
Sure.
That's
Fair.
a good point.
So you two go in.
Follow behind.
I and Cassian head inside. Um, the general consensus is that most of the people in here are male drow. You see the occasional Duergar, very infrequent. There's maybe 2 in the entire place, and you see 1 deep gnome.
Before we head in, I will tell the group this is not as simple as me going to the bar and asking for a room. Give me 20 minutes before you start looking for help. Okay? Understood?
Understood.
Okay, I'm going to go to a table when I first walk in and sit down as if I'm ordering a drink.
Okay, all right. There is 1 open table. The rest of the tables are kind of shared. You can tell that this type of community is more of like longer tables, and then people sit in kind of groups along the table, but people share a table.
Oh.
You find a table that isn't quite like that. On the 4 corners, there are separate, smaller tables. You find one of those and sit in those. Unless if you want to sit with the other people, it's up to you.
I want to look inconspicuous, so I will take a seat at the long table, and I will sit
Kind of.
across from Kai.
Okay, so the both of you guys are going in as a group. Yep, very
Yeah.
inconspicuous.
As I walk in, do people have their hoods drawn or are they folded back?
This late in the day, most of the people have their hoods folded back. I would say the deep gnome does have a hood up. It takes you a second to realize what it is, but you've encountered them before, so you know what it is.
I'm gonna have my hood pulled forward over my head.
Okay. The bartender, who is male drow, comes around and just says, "Hey, is there anything I can get you guys?" In Undercommon.
Local drink, local favorite, please, in Undercommon.
You new to the city?
Once or twice, but I'm becoming more acquainted as the days go on.
All right. I'll get you a stiff one. How about that? And he heads off to the back.
As he leaves, I'd like to make a broad observation of the room. Is there anything? I'm looking specifically for anyone who is out of place.
You do a perception check for me. And Kai, are you doing the same sort of thing?
I would like to think to myself and thinking telepathically, the two Cassian, be like, you look trying to find something? And I can't read his mind, so I don't know. Unless it
You
tells
can read my mind, and he says in return.
me. There you go. Yeah, that's just the dialogue there.
I'm looking for any sign of. I'm looking for anything that's out of place just a little bit to make sure that if we have any shady dealings, that it wouldn't be considered bad manners.
I got you. Someone, okay, got it.
So both of you have perception. I'm going to take a real quick pick. So I'll be back in like 2 seconds.
Very good. I'm going to try to telepathically talk to you a lot because I don't know. I can't do anything.
Telepathically talk to me as much as you want.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, shit, how about you sit the fuck over there and shut the fuck up? Stop with your fucking noises. Yeah, that's what I thought, motherfucker. Nothing.
Nope.
This is hard not being able to
Wrong
talk.
It still gives me anxiety.
The other drow
Still makes
knew-
me jump.
The other drow knew common, but I'm like, ugh, I don't want to just talk in common. That's so sus.
I'll talk to you in your head, buddy. Don't worry. I am the vocal cords of the group. And Kazir too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Hey, Josh.
But
I was just making sure you weren't drunk. Go ahead, buddy. Go back. You come mute.
Okay, I'm doing homework.
Yeah, we just woke you up. Go back
No,
to
he's
sleep,
not.
bud.
He's watching the Eagles game.
Oh, it's Ricky.
I forgot to put it on. Thank you for saying that.
Oh,
Eagles
now we
suck.
really lost him.
Yep.
The Eagles suck. Tony's a Giants fan.
Are you
So-
Tony?
Giants just set a record the other day.
I'm guessing not a good one.
They are the first team. They're the first team to score 3 touchdowns and not concede a single touchdown and still lose the game.
Oh my god.
Wait, how does that happen? Wait.
Lots
They-
of field goals.
The other team scored 7 field goals
Oh my
and they
god.
missed an extra point.
Wow.
No
Holy
way.
shit. Holy shit. That's
Being a
miserable.
fan is
Wow,
not
Tony,
easy,
you
so-
suck, bro. That's crazy.
That's solely on me, actually. That's
Actually,
solely
the
my
funniest
responsibility.
thing I have ever seen. It's so good.
All right.
G-Men,
What did you guys roll for your perception checks?
15.
I got
10
an 8.
plus 5.
8. With a 15, the vibe in here is this is obviously lower working class, and it's strange that like everyone in here is a guy. But they seem to be getting too drunk to really be observant of their surroundings for the most part. The deep gnome is not drinking heavily. The deep gnome just has his hood drawn up. He's just eating his food.
Does it seem like the majority of patron, let's say over 80% of them, are drinking to be drunk, or is everyone just having a beer after work?
No, the general consensus is people are drinking to be drunk. You don't know the cycle of time here. You don't know if it's like a weekend drinking, like, you know, we just got off work and it's been a long work week, or if this is like the typical. That's something you can't really gauge very well.
Okay.
Maybe
But-
it just really sucks down here and people need to drink heavily, you know?
I would like to take a moment, and I want to take 100 gold out of my main coin purse, and I want to put it into a smaller coin purse, and I want to set a pouch of 100 gold on the table and look for reactions.
We roll a perception check from these drunk bastards to see if they even realize what's happening.
I was like, right?
Yep. I'm looking at waitstaff more than anything.
Wait staff who are on duty. There are. It's just the guy that was talking to you and 2 other people. The guy that's talking to you went back to get you a drink. He didn't notice. The other 2 people are not drunk, and they notice a very tasty sack of gold that was just dropped onto the table. And they, like, the one of them looks at it and then looks at the other coworker, and the other coworker looks at him, and they're like, they're having like that
What the fuck?
moment. And then they both go into the back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get him a good drink. Good drink.
I'm gonna wait till my waiter comes back.
Your waiter comes back. Seems more jovial than before. It's like, is there anything else I can get you guys? Anything at all? You all right? Just the drinks? We've got some good food down here too. I mean, we have a fantastic spider steak. It's really good.
Cassian looks up at the waiter. I will make your night worth it if you can tell me where I can gamble within the city.
Oh, there's tons of gambling pits throughout the city. I mean,
I don't want your petty gold coin gambles. I'm looking for something a bit more
high roller.
lucrative.
There's a section of the city where people like to gamble. It's in the higher end, though. I mean, you guys don't seem like the...
No. Look at the scars on my face. And Cassian will like slightly, but not very. Not he will flash. He will pull up the corner of his hood and showcase his eye for a moment and pull it down, but not fast enough to perceive anything. It'll be a quick flash. I don't want to mingle with white coats. I'm looking for something.
So you want something that's not on the level, but high rolling.
It doesn't necessarily have to be high roller, but I'm willing to spend my evening in a pint and with laughter.
Well, I mean, I'd be happy to give you the information. And he kind of like on the table puts his hand as like a palm up.
Very openly, I open my sack of gold and I'll pull out 2 gold coins and put my index finger and my middle finger on both of them, pinned to the table.
Even with 2 gold, this guy's eyes light up. He takes the 2 gold, says, "I know a guy."
I'm not looking for specifics, my friend. It's in fact I wish to remain invisible.
This is the type of thing for what you're looking for, at least what I think you're looking for. You need to have a connection. You can't just walk in because these guys are pretty protective. They're pretty they're not trusting of outsiders. They're not even trusting the people that are in these rings. So
Cassian will hold up his finger, a single finger, and he'll dive back into his purse and he'll pull out an additional 3 gold and put them on the table. I'm not looking to make connections in this city. I'm looking to have a night of fun for me and my party. And I'm looking to erase the memory of my caretaker. Do you have an easily forgettable memory, my friend?
I don't even remember what you were talking about just now.
I'll open up my little sack and I'll kind of jingle it in front of me and look into it. And I'll pull out an additional 2 gold. So we're at 7 gold now.
7 gold.
If you can assure that I don't know your name and you don't know mine, then perhaps I don't need to look for anything special, and we'll be fine right here.
Nice to know you, Mr. Smith. He takes the gold.
I'll need 6 more brews and 3 rooms.
That'll be 3 gold.
I put 6 more on the table.
You can tell that. Like, do an insight check.
He's so ready.
Dude's about to bust.
21. 16 plus 5.
He was definitely overcharging you for the rooms, and then you paid him double what the overcharge price was. You see him immediately take the gold, and he disappears. He runs actually outside the inn and up a flight of stairs. And from just canvassing the building, you would know that the inn section is a different suite. It's up these stone steps that lead on to a kind of built-out terrace that overlooks the Section 8 area. So he ran up to the rooms.
When he returns, I would like to be already standing. And I'll say, I need a table and 6 chairs in that terrace. And I need to make sure that no one else comes up those stairs this evening.
That can be done. All right. He runs into the back of the shop, and you see the other 2 waitstaff. Pretty much everyone at this point, except for them Deep Gnome, is fairly sloshed. The dwarves are now challenging the drow men to a drinking competition between 2 sets of them. It's pretty entertaining to watch, but they're pretty far gone at this point. The other 2 staff members come out with the waiter guy, and they run up to the terrace as well. You see him taking some of the chairs from those standalone 4 corner tables I was talking about. And one of them just grabs the whole table and is trying to, like, drag it out as well. You can tell that something is clearly being set up a little bit.
Cassian, as the waiter begins to walk away, Cassian will pull out his dagger and put the tip into his finger, enough to draw just a speck of blood, and will lean into the waiter and say, Mr. Smith is all that you will remember for tonight. Is that clear?
Remember what?
Cassian will stick his finger in his mouth and taste the blood. Very well. And
It was
walk up the
nice having
stairs.
never met you. And then he goes to cleaning some tables.
That's funny.
And all of that happened in Undercommon, but I'm going to say the rest of the party still hears everything that happens because you guys are still within that telepathic radius. So everyone is still clued in onto exactly what has happened here. That being said, the waiter goes back to doing his normal stuff, bartending and waiting tables and making sure everybody's well and drunk. What are you doing?
Sounds like we're going upstairs.
Yeah, I go up to
Telepathically.
the room.
All right. As you guys go up there, you can see some very hastily scraped together accoutrement. You can see that there has been a very hastily prepared, like, stale donut area that they've tried to set up as the thing. There's like a charcuterie board of sorts. It's all food that you have no idea what the fuck it is, but it looks like it was prepared by someone who was trying to do something fancy and didn't quite know what they were doing. There's a table up there, and there's 6 chairs. The table is too small for all 6 chairs, but the balcony is too small to have 2 tables. So it's a very crammed, very hastily put together attempt at fanciness.
Works for me.
Cassian will. Oh, go ahead.
Before I close the door behind me, could I just take a glance outside and see if I see the hooded figure again or any signs of being trailed?
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
I was gonna say that Cassian leaned up against the rail and lit his pipe, and I would also like to help Newmont make a check here.
I'm going to say that both of you need to roll independently for this.
Okay, I got a 23 again.
23. All right, that's pretty good.
I got a natural 1, so my
Alright.
weed is good, baby.
Actually, you accidentally lit up some of your good stuff. Tell me what you roll for the D6, and we'll see what happens.
All right, D6. Let's see. It's a bag of special tobacco.
The
That is
wacky
a-
tobacco.
A 5. It's the Luna Spice, harvested beneath the glow of the moonlight moon. Kind of appropriate. Luna
Mhm.
Spice tobacco derives its potency from the lunar forces. Grown in secret moonlit gardens, the leaves are carefully infused with celestial spices and enhanced with lunar rituals. When smoked, the silvery smoke carries a hint of vanilla, clove, and moonflower, evoking a sense of serenity and granting a brief connection to the mysteries of the night sky.
You look up, and what Newmont sees is just stalactites. Stalactites. Hanging from the ceiling with little droplets of dew. Cassian, as you look up, you swear to God, you're outside again. You were kind of feeling a little claustrophobic being used to the open air and hunting and monster stuff, and you always had the northern lights and the night sky untouched, pure, and starlit. And as you look up, you're almost reminded of home. For a brief minute, you're brought back to home, and you feel comfortable. So you're literally, like, Numa, as you're looking around, Cassian's just staring at the fucking ceiling.
Cassian, I don't think I ever saw someone look at stalactites like that.
Beauty
Think
is
you
in
might-
the eye of the beer holder, my friend.
Numa, as you're having this kind of back and forth with Cassian, out of the corner of your eye, you almost missed it. You see the same figure as before. Do you make eye contact, or do you just kind of like recognize it out of your peripheral vision and not acknowledge it?
I'll recognize it and not acknowledge it. Think we should go back inside, buddy.
The figure doesn't move, and there's no. Roll an insight check for me because you're trying to figure out what's going on here.
At 11.
An 11. You notice she's there. You don't really know why. You can't really. You're racking your head about it. Like, why would someone know about this and not immediately report it? So that's kind of running through your head as you bring Cassian back up to put him to bed.
Guys, we're still being followed. Same figure.
Could you tell how tall they were? Size
Average
15.
woman height.
How is that possible?
That's weird.
I don't know, but I get glimpses of her here and there, but she's very good at staying in the shadows.
There's something really off about that because the way that
Mhm.
I took us, nobody could have followed us.
Well, whoever she is, she's not a guard because they would have confronted us by now.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I can think of is that she's maybe a slave, potentially. I don't know.
No, there's
Not
something
in the
more to
crowd.
this. There's something
Something
more to this. There's no way.
Maybe someone Alan sent?
No, probably not that either.
There's something magical about that because I'm telling you, as an expert at finding people, that nobody could have followed us through there. And I
Maybe you
mean
lost your
nobody.
touch.
No, that's not possible.
I trust Vicar. If he says it's impossible, it's impossible.
So there's something seriously fucky going on with that.
I don't like that.
Are you guys setting up watches for your long rest, or no?
Hell yeah.
Are we long resting or are we just chatting? Because we will lose telepathy.
It's up to you. You guys have 24 hours. You were
Yep.
gifted that halfway through the day. So when you wake up until you break for lunch, basically, you'll have the telepathy still.
Another 12-ish.
But it's up to you guys. Do you want a long rest, get your shit back, or do you want to stay up, talk, scheme, try to figure out what's going on?
Well, if we're not going to be out doing stuff, I think that the telepathy will lose its value anyways, right?
Yeah.
What,
So
what is it that what is our main goal while we're here? What are we aiming to accomplish?
Info, right? On the slaves.
well, yeah, that's what we had talked about earlier was finding out about what's going on with the symbiotes and whatever is making Kazir look like he's going to throw up.
Yeah, I think I found out what I'm looking for, but I'm not sure how to deal with it now. We can't do it alone.
What were you looking for?
All those people out there in chains, they're my people.
You sure of it?
The message I got, they look like me. I've never seen anyone that looks like me. This is the first time, and there's hundreds, thousands of them all in chains. I wasn't expecting to see this, but now we're here. We have to do something about it. But we can't alone, so I don't know how we'd find allies down here.
Well, we have the sending stone. We can talk to Alwyn about it. We also have the fungal people as allies potentially, but we're talking about destabilizing a city, essentially. So channel your inner Lysander here, guys. What did we learn from Norhaven?
Do we know if drows
Poison
like
the food.
churches? But yeah, food's a good. Food is a good avenue. Generally, an easy way to destabilize cities.
But the food, at the end of the day, the slaves will get the worst of the food. So if we poison the food, it'll be them that's hit hardest.
True.
Well, we need to find a source of the slaves. It's an
Yeah.
open slave trade, or someone controls the slave market, just like
Why don't we buy a slave and ask them questions? Like, we seem to have a lot of money here. We could maybe buy a slave and get the
That could
information we need.
I like that.
Yeah, I was gonna mention while you were talking to the waiter, I was like, I don't know if we should ask him about slavery in a bar. That's kind of weird, but
I think it's pretty
that's weird,
that's
right?
not the same like taboo-ness of a topic as we're
Oh.
used to.
All right.
That's very
Jacob.
normal here.
While we're kind of like staying up and doing this, could I just take a pen and a paper and leave it somewhere outside where I know this hooded figure could see me and just write on it, it's not polite to be in someone's company and not state your intentions, and just leave it there?
In what
Would
language?
you like me to write that for you in Undercommon?
Yeah, I was like, in what language is that?
Yeah. Kazir, could I have some help with this?
Of course, yeah.
Numa, you can't read anyways. What are the chances you can write?
Dang.
All right, so you write it in Undercommon.
Yeah.
All right. You have a very neatly written note from an elf. I'm assuming Kazer's handwriting is absolutely pristine. Very lots of filigree and all of the unnecessary frills that you would need to have in a message. But it's put outside on the table.
All right, I'll check it in the morning.
I'm back.
Didn't even know you left.
All right.
I like full locked there for a couple seconds.
You're good.
Yeah, you did.
Did you get that Newmont left a message in Undercommon?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
So, you guys taking a long rest?
At this point, might as well.
Do we need to do watches? I think we would still do watches, right?
We should probably do
Yeah.
watches. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got 3 rooms, but we don't have to use all of them. We could set up dummy rooms.
They're all in like a. Do we have the whole terrace and the rooms? Like, do we have a whole area to ourselves, or are they all like separate up to public?
You guys basically bought out most of the inn. You
Yeah.
bought out the balcony suite, which is like their high seller point, which isn't a high seller point. It's like if you go to a motel and there's like the one motel that has like the balcony area to it, you guys got that section. So, but it's more of like a section as opposed to individual units. So
At the penthouse at the fucking apple
Yeah.
tree.
Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn.
yeah, that's a
Basically.
perfect analogy. You got the suite at Applebee's.
It's a good one.
Yeah. So, are you guys doing groups of 2, or are you doing 2
Yeah,
rooms?
2. I think we just by default do groups of 2.
I think
Mhm.
that makes the most sense. So the
Should write this
watches are gonna break up in a way that doesn't make a ton of sense. So I'm gonna say everybody roll perception.
That makes it easier.
I'm just gonna take an average.
Dirty
Yeah.
20.
That makes it easier.
4.
Way to
Perception
take the
also
swing.
a 4.
I can't even roll.
Also a 4. All right.
Oh, boom. Nat 20
I got-
plus 7.
Jeez.
We got highs and we got lows in this group.
I got
19.
9.
I'm 19.
We're averaging out to like a 12.
Yeah, it's still not a good average. Let me roll for this character. Let's see what she gets. She's pretty good at not being found. Yeah, you guys stand no chance.
Bitch.
Through your sporadic watches at random different times, it's a bit difficult to coordinate among you, and even when you do kind of figure out some sort of coordination, the levels of visibility in this place are pretty dim. The glass is not super clear to see out of, so if you're going to stay inside, it's a bit difficult. For the sake of narrative purposes, I'm going to say you guys are mostly just kind of like chilling in your rooms, looking out the window through the painted glass, because it's chilly down
Yeah.
here. You wouldn't want to be outside in this damp environment. You don't want to be seen. You don't want to be noticed in the first place.
I agree.
In the morning, you guys all get a full rest. No problem. Numa.
Yes. Does the note say anything?
Yeah, as an elf, I think you'd be one of the first people up. Kazer would follow soon after you. But you're the first one there, and you see on your note, written in a form of Elvish, not undercommon, not common, I think we should talk.
In a form of Elvish I could understand, or
In a form of
Kazer's
you can piece things together. It's more of like
Slang?
reading with a heavy accent, but reading is hard for you in the first place, so you might need to get some help. translating.
Kazer, could you take a look at this?
So what language is it if I read it? 'Cause I'm
It
guessing
is-
I would get it pretty good.
It's a form of Elvish. It's like a mutated form of Elvish. You can read it, and you can piece it together fairly easily. It's almost like a transitionary form of Elvish between the old Elvish you've been studying and Elvish as Elvish is. This Elvish is very different, and you think back to when Vicar pointed out scratchings. They had the same. You can't understand it, like, because the words wouldn't make sense based on the scratchings you saw, but you can piece together the words that were said in that thieves' camp, but you just don't know what the thieves' camp means. So something here is funky.
Okay. So I guess the group wakes up. We'll relay this information. Do you guys trust this person?
Kai's
Should we
initial
meet with them?
responses. I fucking knew it.
Speaking Elvish, I don't think
Yep.
that's a drow.
Mhm.
No, and they aren't a guard because we would have been arrested by now.
Yeah. I think it's worth looking into.
Yeah, they may want something or be able to offer something.
Yeah.
Should we just leave
Yeah.
a note that says like tonight and just stay another
Yes.
night?
I think we set it for perhaps somewhere secluded. Maybe we take a moment to survey and see what we can muster up as a meeting place.
I know an
Ideally, a place where
alleyway.
we can set up an ambush.
I was like, should we just welcome them in here?
We
It's-
don't know them. I'd rather have the upper hand and set an ambush if needed.
I
They
mean,
do. I'm not saying we don't, but they do already know
yeah.
where we are staying.
I mean, but if it's just one person, I mean, I don't think that one person would have an upper hand in a small room against 6 people. Unless they put, you're
We
saying
don't-
they
we
have an
don't know
ambush of
it's
like
just
20
one.
people.
The only
That's the
person we
concept.
saw could just be a scout.
Well, if anything, then having it here would be better.
Yeah,
because
literally
it's
anywhere
harder
else would be
for them
worse.
to ambush us here.
Yeah.
We have more control over this room than we do some random place in the city. I don't think it matters too much,
I
but
agree. I agree.
if they wanted to fuck with us, they could have just not answered.
Mm.
They already knew where we were, and they seem to know who we are,
I-
or that we're different at least.
Yeah. Mm.
So plan then.
I think having them meet us here is fine.
Okay, so we're leaving a note outside then saying. I want to say tonight, but is that even a thing?
It's fair.
We'll be here. I don't know. I could write that.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are
Outside.
planning. I'll be right back.
Bye. I mean, you could always just say, come on in.
Or yeah,
Or
like in
just
Elvish, right? Like
Yeah.
knock
Yeah.
Knock.
3
Twice.
times
Yeah, or
and
3
then
times.
twice.
Yeah, I'll do that. Let's like knock 3 times.
Great
Yeah.
idea.
then
Too bad our
tell-
DM's on here.
Throw Cassian 3 gold and say, "Can you get the room for another night?"
No problem.
I thought you bought it for multiple nights.
I don't think so.
He probably bought it forever at his rates. But
Yeah, I know, right? Upcharged him
That's
3,
true.
gave him 6. He's gonna.
The only thing I could think of though is if they wanted to talk, why didn't they just come in last night? So maybe they aren't willing to talk with all of us.
Because also there is 6 of us, and
Yeah, because
one of
maybe
them-
they're afraid of being
Yeah.
ambushed. I don't know. But I just don't understand why she would want to talk and not just like make contact last night.
Maybe we
Because-
just beat her to it. Maybe she was observing us.
Yeah. I mean, if she is going against the guards, which is what it would seem, because she's not working with them, that is probably death.
I'll say being
immediately if
being
she gets
technically
caught,
objective.
So
All she sees is 6 people. 1's a bird. 1 looks normal, and 4 people look like shittily dressed drow. Right? Like that's like
Yeah.
objectively, that's what she sees.
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh yeah,
Although,
let's talk, baby."
In character, you guys think that your disguises are pretty okay because Vicar
Oh, okay,
known for it.
okay. No,
And
fair, fair.
he said, "Oh, I think I messed up a little bit. Let me fix the ear." And then he rolled again and said, "All right, we're all good to
Nice.
go."
Hey, we have
So
a
you
whole
got-
other day.
So we
Are
think we're, like-
updating these disguises.
Oh
to the
yes,
next
before we
level?
leave, I'm gonna. I have to. They only last for 24 hours, anyways.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he has
so
to. He has to redo it. But
Yeah.
you
Hopefully
guys
that's yours.
thought that you were like
Yeah,
okay, and
okay.
then you thought, oh, we're even better
We're
now.
solid. So now we just think she's some random person wants to talk to us. Technically.
Well, we know it's their some form of Elvish, which is why
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
interesting.
Now it's
Which
even
is
weirder why
not-
they didn't just come in or knock.
Yeah. Well,
She's being cautious as well.
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm for whatever.
So I don't know if you guys are still into the idea because we came up with it when Jacob wasn't here, but we were gonna leave a note on the door that said knock 3 times and then twice or something like that.
Yeah, you could say knock 3
Mhm.
times if you want to enter, or knock twice if you want to meet downstairs in a public area. I don't know if that's reasonable. I'm just saying giving options.
Let's not give them options. I don't
Yeah.
want to go
Well.
downstairs.
Keep it private.
Mhm.
I think that'd be better.
So knock 3 times if you want to enter.
Yeah.
All right. You guys wait up with anticipation for. Like you guys are getting like tired at this point, and on one of the doors, I'm gonna say all of you hear it, but one of you guys are in the room hear 3 knocks.
Fuck, which door was that?
It was on the door that would be whichever one the note was posted on.
Yeah.
So which door did you guys post the note on?
I thought there was only the one.
The one with the stone stairs going up to it, right?
So there's 3 rooms.
Oh, we had 3
okay,
rooms.
so
Oh,
maybe I
that's
didn't communicate this well. There's like a stone staircase that leads up to a series of rooms that have a shared balcony.
I see.
So there's 3 rooms along that shared balcony. So
Got
which one of the doors do you put it on?
The farthest from the stairs.
Farthest from the stairs.
Mhm.
That's interesting. You hear 3 knocks and then footsteps.
I open the door.
You don't immediately see anything. Do a perception check for me.
23, baby, come on.
Oh no, 11.
DoorDash or whatever it's called.
Ding dong.
You hear a voice from where the staircase ends, like a knock, like it's almost like a ring and ditch. Like she knocked 3 times and went to the edge of the stairs, and all you see, you don't see anything actually with an 11, but you hear in Elvish. You can piece it together. Seeing it written out is harder for you than actually understanding it. It's almost like in slightly broken Elvish. You hear, "Are you who I think you might be?"
Who's that?
Was she talking to you?
Are
I'm
you
assuming.
Drow?
Why would it matter?
What
Bad.
language are you speaking this in?
It's
Elvish?
Elvish.
Broken.
It's
Yeah.
it's broken Elvish.
I know what language she's speaking in. I'm wondering what language Numat's
Elvish.
speaking in. Yeah.
Yeah, Numa. You're speaking Elvish too, guys. I
Yes.
assumed you.
Yeah.
You hear, "This is a bad idea. I need to go."
Can I walk out at this point? Because I'm guessing we're all hearing this, right?
Yeah, you're hearing the conversation, and she's not like dashing away, but she's quickly going down the stairs at this point.
I'll say, don't be afraid. We're not who you think we are.
What does that mean? You hear it from the bottom of the stairs, and you can't see her.
I'll say, come and look for yourself. And like, I'll just have my mask off.
Was it a disguise game?
Do a perception
not.
check for me.
I'm the only one looking out of here. Because I better not be.
I mean, you're the only one that.
I would
walked
still
out,
be
right?
with you.
Nate, you can't see anything, but you hear a couple of seconds of silence,
So I guess
And
I'll
then-
put my mask back on.
and
Okay,
then
go.
slowly from the darkness steps what looks to be a drow woman. She comes slowly up the stairs, and as you're trying to put your mask back on, she touches your hand and lowers it, and then touches your face. And then she just says, "I almost forgot what we used to look like." And as she's like right up next to you, she looked to be drow. You were borderline convinced that she was. However, let me post an image here. Do you know how hard it is to get like a half of something?
Oh, I can imagine.
Half of something.
Oh, I can imagine.
This is what she looks like. You can see like there's clearly like, oh, she's drow, and then you look, and then there's like that bit where she forgot the makeup
You know what you mean. Mm-hmm.
on the chest area, and you can tell immediately she's trying to cover something up and was doing it very, very, very well, but she made one mistake that you can clearly see from very, very close. I just posted the image. How does it already have 4 dick strokes?
5, baby.
You can thank Tony. You can thank Tony.
Stop.
She lowers her hood, and you can see there's still some of the makeup that didn't quite connect on the ears. This person is clearly trying to disguise himself as a drow and has done it successfully so far. There's something that's a little off when you look in her eyes. Her eyes have that red that the drow have, but it seems a tiny bit too intense based on what you've seen. And that's all she's doing. She just said, "I almost forgot what we look like," and she has her hand on your face.
Like, I'd just be kind of aghast, and I would like shake, I guess, when she did that, and I'd be like, "You mean you're the same as me?"
Yes.
Quick,
I was one of
come inside.
Yeah, I was like a whisper, "Can you guys get inside?"
that's a better idea. And she walks in with you guys, and she immediately is, you can see, very threatened by the presence of so many people that she perceives there's a bunch of men in one enclosed space that she does not know.
Victor's sitting down and doesn't get up when she comes inside.
Yeah, she looks very uncomfortable because it's already an uncomfortable situation to be in. And
So
she's coming into this, and it's just...
So I would slowly close the door, and I'd be like, "Don't be afraid. They're friends. They're here for the same purpose as me."
Your disguises are bad, by the way, just so you know.
Thanks.
Damn it, Victor.
Is she speaking in a language we understand?
Yeah, no, she speaks in common.
Okay.
Once she sees like you guys as a collective unit, your disguises are bad enough, and she's very perceptive and intuitive. She knows that some of you are humans, and like, you know, the general consensus is there's like a bird, couple of humans, an elf. Let's try common and see what sticks. And she says it in common, and you guys understand.
Hey, if I only had one to do, maybe I'd do a better job. All right.
And he
You
was
were
working
responsible
overtime.
for this. I'm impressed you got past the guards. It's pretty good work, honestly. I mean, you see this, and you look at her, and hers is about as good as the rest of your guys. It's not much better. The one thing that she has on top of you guys is that her drow eyes are actually red. Every drow that you've seen has red eyes. You had no way of making that happen.
I would like to say in Elvish, I'm like, we're not here to hurt anybody, at least not yet.
How'd you do the eye bit?
Oh, it's a spell I learned from, you know, when I was up top. It's called thaumaturgy. You can change the color of your eyes. But I don't know magic much more powerful than that, I'm afraid. So my disguise options are very limited. And when she says that, Kaiser, you and Sid, I would say Newmont, not Newmont, Cassian as well. The three of you guys immediately know that she is able to cast cantrips at some level, but she isn't even a first level spellcaster. Because if you can cast Thaumaturgy, why not just cast Disguise Self, which is a first level spell? So she doesn't have a high skill level for spellcasting.
Or maybe she's a sorcerer.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
You have no idea what she. You just know that she can cast Thaumaturgy. There are also some spell classes that don't have access to spells like Disguise Self.
So I would turn to her and say, "How did you know? You followed us the whole time, haven't you?"
I've been
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Well, I've been keeping an eye on the city. I've been keeping an eye on the city gates for the last several months for anything at all that looked different or suspicious or just something. I'm desperate at this point. I wanted something, anything. And then I see a bunch of people walking by in makeshift costumes, and then my curiosity was piqued. I saw you dip into an alley, and I just sat there and I waited. And I'm familiar with the back alleys of this city because I have to be. My disguises aren't fantastic. So I've gotten really good at going through the back alleys of the city, and I'm trying to run a small team of people for the resistance. Trying to find some sort of way to free everybody, but realistically, my husband and my daughter, I need to set free. I was able to escape because I was able to do this, but they don't have any sort of spell casting at all, and they can't. Had a very elaborate, in-depth plan, but long story short, it got me out, but it couldn't get both of them out. And I'm looking to free my family at the very least. We can't free the whole city, but
Why not?
why not?
Yeah, how big is this resistance?
Have you taken a look around you? Do you understand the magnitude of what is happening here?
See a lot of slaves.
Yeah,
not as many guards.
It's. Wait. What do you know? Let's start from there. What do you know?
The Drow are slaving people.
Is that it?
That's all I think I need to know.
Do you know how many hundreds of cities? Do you know how many millions of us need to be set free?
Well, let's start with this
somewhere.
city. What's the slave to slaver ratio here?
Mostly aristocrats, wealthy merchants own slaves. Slaves are expensive. On the low end, they're hundreds of gold, and on the high ends, they're tens of thousands. The symbiotes go for much more than the typical elves, but
How many slaves to how many non-slaves are here in this city?
also, I'm going to say, for the sake of expediency, we're doing it like this, but it's more like talking to someone with like an extremely heavy accent and trying to be like, hey, what'd you say again? What was that? That's more of the communication that's going on. Ask your question again.
How many slaves to how many non-slaves? I'm just trying to get a census for the city.
I don't know. I genuinely wish I could give you an answer, but I don't know. I see slave auctions every day. I see slaves bought every day. But I haven't been here for super long. I've only been here for a couple of years. I was taken from up top.
Wait, what?
You've been living undercover for how long here?
Maybe 2 months? Maybe?
And this resistance you have, how many people do you have in it?
She looks a little ashamed and looks down and goes, "There's one other person that was able to escape."
Not much of a resistance.
We've done greater things with the 6 of us.
Not overthrow a city, though.
First for everything. Who runs
We-
the city?
Did overthrow a city, actually.
Mm-hmm. Who runs the city? Who's in charge of all the slavery going on here?
Well, those are two different answers, but the person who runs the city is Lariel. Liriel.
Lauren.
Who
alright,
runs the
got it.
slaves?
Hey, you said Lir? Like Liriel?
No,
Lariel?
Did you
so
say
it's Liriel.
IEL? Yeah, Liriel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Larry. Got it.
Liriel?
Liriel? Yeah, sure. Got it.
I called it Liriel because I think that makes sense.
Liriel. Got it.
Oh, wait.
What city is this, by the way? What's the name of it?
It is called
Glowstone Spires.
Gloom Shroud Spires.
And for
Who's
the
in charge of the
slavery?
slaver?
What'd you say?
Who's in charge of the slavery in the city?
That would be Fariel. Faeyy. Oh, sorry. Faeryl.
Got it.
ERYL is pronounced get. Those who's catching on.
Oh my god.
I don't want to pry too much, but you said you were taken from above. Where are you from, if I can ask?
I used to live when I was a little girl. I was told that I lived on the continent Ader, and I remember there was lots of sand, and that's about all I remember.
And then you were taken somewhere else, and then taken here later. How old is this woman? Visually looking.
I was just I was young. I don't really remember a lot of the details. I just remember that my parents were scared and they left me somewhere because they thought it was their best bet.
Got it.
And that's all I remember. I remember waking up here. I remember how scary that was.
Do you remember when they brought you into the city? Did they bring you like through the roads, or how did they get you here?
I wasn't awake the whole time.
Hmm.
It was like they used some sort of magic or poison to put me to sleep and then just brought me here. But I was really young. I was a little girl, and I know my parents were trying to find a way to keep us safe. And I remember them being scared.
No wonder.
Kai's confused. She's been here for 3 years?
2 months.
She's been
No,
free,
she's
for 2 months.
Yeah, she managed to escape 2
But
months
she's
ago.
only been here for 2 years. But she woke up here 3 years ago?
And you notice distinctly now that you're looking at her, she looks a hell of a lot more like Khazar than some of the people that you were seeing. That had the milky white eyes, the silvery blonde hair. Her hair is blonde for sure, but it's more full-bodied. Her face features are less gaunt. She looks a lot more like Khazar than some of the people that you were seeing throughout the city. And she kind of like she wipes her makeup off a little bit, and then she ends the whole thing on her eyes, and you see that her eye color is exactly the same as Kyle.
I vote we plan some political hits.
What'd you say?
I'm voting that we plan some political hits and start chopping at the ankles of this beast.
I guess there's two ways we can go about this: doing that and trying to take out the important people, or are we trying to build up a resistance to overthrow maybe all of this?
I
Why not
feel
both?
like taking out political people in a city as evil as this is just going to create power vacuums where new evil people quickly take their place.
What if we
I would
can orchestrate a vacuum that we fill with someone on our side? Maybe we can talk and see if someone's willing to flip.
It's just such a big thing to flip about. I feel like we need violence to do something about this. It's like ingrained into their way of life.
Or greed.
I tried to speak to the bartender about some less than savory groups, and it seems as if the shadowy folk in the city are very well connected already and not so open to outsiders. So I think creating a power vacuum would not serve us super well, only because we would not be able to have much influence on who replaces who, given the fact that this city it seems to be tightly packed.
Doing both at the same time, like Sid did suggest, might be good. If you can take out the person who calls the shots at the beginning of resistance, it may cause so much confusion that the drow's response is like severely hindered.
We just have to make sure we have the manpower ready to overthrow the city when that happens.
Yes, so that would be something we'd have to have in place.
Either freeing slaves or alerting the slaves to our plan or something like that. Yeah.
What if we split the attention of the city between internal and external threats? Because we can also rely on the Myconids to hit from the outside.
True, and on that note, I'll turn to her and say, is there anyone outside of the city walls that we could count on for support? Are there any more colonies of our kind that are free?
What do you mean, any more colonies of our kind that are free? We're all enslaved. I've just managed to escape as one person. Anyone who escapes is immediately hunted down and killed. The only reason I'm alive is because I stayed in the city and tried to be really smart about my movement.
I agree that you're very skilled, but you can't have been the only one to have escaped.
I know. It's not. I need help. I can't. I don't know what to do. She just looks completely defeated and sits down.
Before you were captured, what was your skill set?
Before I was captured, I was about 6 years old. I didn't have a skill set. I built some over time. I remember my parents used to be spellcasters, and they taught me the basic fundamentals of some magic, but I barely remember any of it. I just know some of the smallest of things. I can do this. And she flicks her hand, and all the doors and the windows in the room slam open. And then she does it again, and they slam closed. And she can go, I can do this. And then she changes her eye color. And then she's like, and I can also make my voice really loud, but that's.
When she cast the open and closing thing, is it visible that she did that, or does it seem like it happened out of nowhere?
She clearly cast a spell, and you notice that for all three of these instances, she cast the same spell, just different inflections, and only Kazur would notice this.
Okay.
Kazur, do an Arcana check for me. This is really easy.
A nat 20, baby. +5.
What a
That's where
waste.
those go.
What a waste.
Yeah.
Oh, what a waste.
With the nat 20, I'm going to give you so much detail. It's a stunted growth wizard. She has all the capabilities to be very proficient in magic, but she just never had the materials to learn. So she basically had her first ever baby's spellbook when she was a child. And as a child, she was able to comprehend cantrips, which is very impressive. However, she has no spellbook. She has not had any teacher. She has no resources to teach herself. And her capabilities are limited to, you would guess, down to 2 spells, which would be thaumaturgy and prestidigitation.
So
Yikes.
I would say we'll need a greater plan if we're going to change the way things are run. But maybe this can give you some hope for now. And I'll give her the spell book I got from the first necromancer we fought.
Damn, really?
Yeah. With a couple of spells in.
Okay. She looks at it and she just like, her eyes get huge. Like this is a woman to be in like her early middle-aged years, based on what you know about elves. Eyes get absolutely huge, and she starts turning through, and she's like, I don't. I'm gonna need. I can't. And you, as someone who tried to be a wizard before, and ended up being something different, you understand her predicament. She now has the ability to learn, but she has no money, which is the never-ending struggle of a wizard.
Yeah, she'll
So she
find
can't-
her way.
Super
Yeah.
tramp.
Like she needs to become a thief or something to just even do wizardry.
All right, Kazar taught you the book. Now I'm going to teach you how to get the money to use it.
All right,
We'll
do
get
you,
you
do you
started on
act?
your path.
Thank you. This is huge. This will make a difference. I'm gonna make a difference. I know I will. But if I could just get my family safe first, that's I. And again, she looks she looks hopeful and then defeated again because she still doesn't have the resources she needs to learn any of this stuff.
So wait,
Well-
what do you mean by safe? Do you mean up on the surface, or do you mean like what's safe down here in your head?
I don't know what even is safe down here.
Yep.
I've only ever known this city.
Yep.
And it's dangerous. I'm assuming the landscape is bad. I've heard horror stories of
There's
These-
nothing safe down here.
That's kind of what I was. I didn't think she knew of anything.
then getting them back to the surface at least. Hopefully, maybe we can start a new life. I found someone that I love, and I selfishly brought someone into this world that didn't deserve this life, and and she starts to cry.
You're in a better place than you realize coming to us. You could not have stumbled into somebody who was more aligned with your desires. Now, I don't think that as a group we can focus on specifically getting your family out into the surface, but our plan here is in line with what you want. But we want to do it on a grander scale.
I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to be able to do it with just a group of you.
We
know that.
understand that.
I don't think you'll be able to free the city with just the group of you. The hold is too strong. People are too scared.
Well, then we find some people and we give them some hope. Do you know a lot of the slaves? Are any of them capable in magic? Or sword fighting? Are any of them warriors?
Everyone is kept ignorant on purpose. If you teach the slaves purpose, if you teach the slaves skills, the slaves revolt. That's their mindset, and it's a little bit true. Look at what I was able to do with a simple cantrip and a little bit of intuition. I mean, they're
Sounds like you just answered our question.
What's her name? Did she share yet?
she never gave you her name. You never asked for it.
I'm gonna ask her name.
My name is Viconia.
Can you spell it?
Tony.
Viconia.
Oh, Vaconia. Okay.
She likes cones.
Well, Vic, sometimes all it takes is a
Yes?
spark to ignite a large enough fire. So what we need to do is start striking the coals here. Because I know
if-
you have family at stake, but so do we. And I point to Kazar and myself.
Kazar, do you have your mask on or off?
I
She's
guess
already seen your
off.
face.
Yeah,
so-
I guess off. She kind of like stopped me putting it on, so.
Yeah, she did stop you putting it on, but you could have put it on since. That's why I was asking. She looks at you, Kazar, and lingers on your face for a moment, and then looks to Sid and says, "What's your part in this battle? You're not one of us."
And Sid's skin will start to bubble, and you'll see like half
No.
his face turn symbiote.
I'm gonna say Malachor kind of takes over the whole thing at this point because he's been very quiet. He's been very patient and he's been a good boy for a while. He takes over and then just like stomps over, and all of you guys are a little bit afraid of like what he's gonna do because this is a small elven woman who's frail and a slave, and like you're like, what's happening? He stomps right over to her. And as Malachor, you see this giant 9.5-foot tall symbiotic being get on both knees and take her hands in his oversized hands and says, "We will fix this. We will set it right." And starts melding back into Sid, and Sid, you're left holding her hands in the same way of just trying to be comforting, but you're significantly smaller now. And she looks absolutely terrified because she has no idea what the fuck just happened. She's never seen a symbiote bonded with a human before. That was terrifying for her. So she's a little bit shaken, but she's like, okay.
Viconia, do you know of any other camps of slaves around the city that are perhaps smaller in size to the city itself? Any work camps?
The best shot you have is an auction. Honestly, they're not really kept in camps so much. I mean, there's
Where do the
There's-
slaves live primarily?
with the wealthy. Usually they're hand servants or they're doing extremely
Maids or whatever.
backbreaking labor in
Yeah.
the mines. Or
Yeah, I
something.
was gonna say,
It's-
whereas like there's a workforce, of just slaves,
Of course, there's a workforce of slaves. They're
and
in
they
the
all
mine.
sleep in Drow's houses.
It depends. It really just depends. It's
I feel like if the government here was using slaves to mine or harvest trees or whatever it is that they're doing, that they wouldn't be putting them up in the housing with wealthy. They'd probably have some kind of a camp for them or a slave housing section, wouldn't they?
it depends. In some of the I guess you would call them like mid-range wealthy. areas, you might find more of that. But the wealthy, when they own more slaves, they tend to look towards lower income housing for their slaves. They don't want to spend top dollar.
Sure.
And this auction you speak of, they must have a holding place for the slaves there. Is it heavily guarded?
It
Been
is.
there before.
It is heavily guarded for a slave auction. The other thing that is of importance is if they find a slave that they think might be suited for what they call entertainment, meaning they're big and strong or have magical capabilities, they will designate them as gladiatorial status and then ship them off to the arena.
And where's the arena?
Near the center of town.
Well, sounds like they might be the people we need to free the most.
Well, they might be the most capable initially, but I think numbers are going to be a big part to play here, and maybe giving even just sowing seeds with some slaves in the community for knowledge or power and getting them to revolt could be very good.
Mm.
For someone like me, I think that works well. I've only been here for a few years. You can see me, you can see him. She points to Kazir. We look the same. We are the same. We're the same people who have been down here for the last 2,000 years, born and bred into this environment. They don't last long. They don't have the same will. They don't have the same strength. It's almost like they accepted this. I don't think you're going to get a lot out of them. I think they need to be shown literally anything better. But I don't think they could even fight for it. And as you
Sorry.
as,
when you
as you kind of
say-
reflect back on the situation, you realize that there is like a distinct, very select few that look like you, Kazir. And it's a very distinct, select few that look like you. Most of them look like an in-between stage of like what a hobbit is to what Gollum is, and what Gollum is what you and that's like an extreme parallel, but way more gaunt, way more thin, way more. You get the imagery, but not as gross as Gollum. You know.
So I would ask her, when you speak of our people, what are we called? I know nothing of our history. Tell me about our people.
She opens her mouth and is about to say something, and I think that's where we're going to end the session.
Wow.
Because it's past 9:30. It's 9:45. I had a hard
Yeah.
stop at 9:30.
All right.
We'll give
Next
more of a
time.
lore dump next session.
Yeah. Sounds good.
It
Right
was a
on.
good session, guys.
Yeah, thanks for playing.
Again.
Yeah, always. This is going to
That
be
was
difficult to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, might want to put your thinking caps on for this one.
I'm saying we start a war, we free the slaves, we get an army.
Maybe some
millions in
guerrilla
size.
tactics. Just start
Oh,
lighting
yeah.
people's houses on fire.
I love
When in
a,
doubt,
like,
propaganda it out, boys.
yeah. I love an army of anorexic people.
Oh God.
Literally, they're like anorexic people.
I got
They're-
a stick. Dead. All right, see ya.
All right, fellas. GG's.
Yep.
That was fun.
Boosh.
GG's.
See you guys.
Peace.